Understood. Someone would tap my D. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Only if it's the Egyptian dollar. You talking to me? Oh, wait.
Is it back here?
Go ahead and take your seats. If everyone can please go ahead and find an open seat. Let's quiet down. We're about to get started. Everybody, if you could please quiet down, we're about to begin. Thank you, everybody. All right, everybody. If we could please quiet down and find an open seat. Thank you, everybody, for coming. It is 11:48. We're going to begin. If everyone can please quiet down over at the bar. If you want to keep talking, please go inside the restaurant. That would be awesome. All right, we're just going to get started. And if you want to keep going, please, by all means, head into the restaurant. And yeah, so thank you, everyone, for coming today. My name is Jared Orkin, CEO of a company. You can't hear me at all. Okay, cool. You got it? Amazing. Fantastic. All right, everybody. My name is Jared Orkin. I'm the CEO of a company called Activate Talent. We do outsourced staffing in America and South Africa. We staff a lot of the brands here today. And we are excited to be one of the sponsors. I also want to introduce Austin Harrison. He's the CEO of Northbeam, another sponsor to make this event happen. Northbeam is an incredible attribution platform. You should absolutely talk to Austin for 5 minutes. He's incredible. He knows so much about some of the biggest brands in the world. And most importantly, I want to give a round of applause for Hudson Leo Grande, who is the mastermind of all masterminds, who put this event together. I don't know where he is right now, but he is here somewhere. He's right there if you want to raise your hand. He loves selfies, so feel free. He charges $5 a selfie. So thank you, everybody, again. Just really quickly, though, it's really incredible. Because of Hudson, we raised $80,000 for the ADAA. This all came from Hudson's idea to be like, we're not charging anything. We just want to give back to the community. So thank you, Hudson, for that. We had an LA mastermind before this where we raised, I think it was around $50,000. So the Miami crew beat out the LA crew, so congratulations for that. And the next one, I believe, will be in New York. So without further ado, we're going to get started. So if Wayne Walton can come on up here. Wayne is the CEO and co-founder of Aroma 360 and Hotel Collection. He pretty much owns half of Wynwood at this point. So let's get you up here. We're going to get started. We're going to do 4 Q&As together. And at the end, we're going to bring everybody together to ask questions. Now, after about 15 minutes, we're going to give it back to the audience. And you guys can ask anything. We want you to ask the hard questions.
I'm ready.
So, Wayne, if you want to give a brief introduction about yourself and your business, we can start with that.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say, I don't typically do these things, but when Hudson came to me and said that we were going to be raising money for the ADAA, I mean, 80,000, big thank you to everybody here in the audience, because that's amazing. It really is. So when Jared says CEO, my version of CEO is Chief Everything Officer. So in Hotel Collection and Aroma 360, I'm known as the Chief Everything Officer because the way I see it is, when you're a creator and you're a founder and this is what you were born to do, you wear all hats. Because when you wear all hats is when you're able to actually understand all the pieces and dynamics that allow you to grow, scale, and turn concepts into realities. So I don't really get pigeonholed when it comes to titles. Everybody in our organization understands that we kind of just do what needs to be done in that moment in time to make the dream possible.
Can you just tell everybody, what is Aroma 360? What is Hotel Collection? How many retail stores do you have? How did you go from D2C to retail? How does that all work?
So it started as Aroma 360 originally. Aroma 360 is the premier luxury home and business fragrance company in the country, now expanding more internationally. Everything from diffusing, small diffusers in the home to full home solutions. Hotel Collection is a luxury lifestyle brand, so it was bred out of the Aroma 360 origin story. We had a collection called the Hotel Collection inside of Aroma 360. We had the Fresh Collection, we had the Spa Collection, we had the Hotel Collection. The Hotel Collection ended up being the #1 scenting category that we had at the time. And COVID came, and the world that we all lived in changed drastically. For the first time in modern history, everybody was spending all of their time at home. They weren't going into businesses. Aroma 360 at that time was very heavily focused in the business category. So we needed to figure out our next iteration. So we came up with a hotel collection concept to be able to bring the hotel home, which was a phrase that we coined early on in the process, so that people who, for the first time, couldn't go and have the vacation they're used to having or explore and see the world that they were used to seeing, could bring pieces of that into their home. Because at that point in time, nobody had spent that much time in their own home. They're sitting in their living room all day long with their laptop for the first time. They hate the fucking furniture. They don't like the way it smells. They don't enjoy the decor. So we were giving them a conduit to change that environment and experience. And Hotel Collection took off. 2019 was 36 million. It went to $200 million within 2.5 years of that at time frame. So
how many retail stores do you have right now?
Roma 360 is at 31 retail stores in the United States of America. We have 2 locations in Dubai at the moment. A couple more international spaces to go. Hotel Collection is completely D2C. It's all online.
Amazing. So something interesting that you do is that you own both ends of the customer. And I was hoping you can kind of share what that means here, both types of customers even, and expand on that.
It's a good point. And I've been an entrepreneur since I was 17, 18 years old. I'm the definition of starting it on my own. I didn't have anything that gave me, it wasn't like a trust fund maybe, or anything like that. So when you go through that iteration and the businesses that I've been fortunate enough to be involved with and or build and exit out of, it's really about understanding who your customer is. And when it came to Roma 360 Hotel Collection, what we realized very early on was we had the rare opportunity to have a customer on both ends of the spectrum. So customer number one, and this is the way we coined it internally, it's the husband and wife who have 2 kids, and on the end of the last day of school every summer, they pack everything into their suitcases, they get on a plane, and they fly to the 4 Seasons in Maui, and that's their summer vacation they've been doing ever since the kids were small. So they purchase some of our 4 Seasons inspired scents so they can bring part of that vacation back into their home. That's customer number 1. Customer number 2 could never afford to fly to the 4 Seasons of Maui, no matter what they did to change their lifestyle and their outcome right now. But they can buy a candle, a reed diffuser, a room spray, a small scent diffuser with an oil on subscription, and bring their version of the 4 Seasons of Maui into their home. It is so drastically rare to have a consumer product that can be on both sides of that spectrum. And when we realized it, it opened up the full spectrum of what our marketing could do. The same ad talks to both customers. Louis Vuitton runs an ad right now for a handbag, and if you can't afford the handbag, your only other option is a keychain, right? So you're very pigeonholed with your marketing. Your acquisition costs are higher. It's harder to find and acquire more customers. We understood early how broad we can make our marketing, and most of you that are building your brands right now, you look at broad as a bad thing. Broad means it's going to cost me more money. I'm going to be wasting some of my ad spend on this giant audience. But if you understand how to hone in the marketing to be in a broad stadium full of people, but with a message that resonates with everybody in the stadium, then it actually becomes the most effective way to acquire your customers.
Speaking of customers, you just launched on Whatnot about 8 days ago. I saw the operation. It was really cool. You're running 6-8 hour lives on Whatnot. How's that going? What's the strategy with Whatnot? You literally just launched it, so you're probably testing a lot of things.
The best way I can explain it is when Hotel Collection was first starting as a D2C brand, Meta created the Hotel Collection brand. We did what we called our Faces campaign, which was just seeding our product with tens of thousands of micro and semi-influencers, if you want to use that term, individuals all throughout the country. They would send us the content. We would put all of our marketing money behind all of these, what we call Faces campaigns. And the reason why we did that was very simple. We wanted everybody that saw a Hotel Collection ad to feel like it was a brand they've heard of before, they've seen before. They didn't understand why they hadn't tried it yet. It looked like everybody had already experienced this brand before. So we credit Meta with kind of giving us that life in the beginning, because Instagram was kind of in its infancy. We expanded a lot with TikTok Shop and TikTok in general to kind of keep that range going. But what excites me about Whatnot is that I feel like it's the beginning stages of TikTok. And it's the beginning stages of Meta all over again. So for us, it's just a new customer acquisition strategy. Everything when you get to this scale is about where can I unlock new customers. So once you've unlocked, you're going to hit a plateau at some point in time on all of your platforms. So when we can find a new platform that can give us a net new customer, that's exciting to us because that gives us another leg and another expansion.
You talked about seeding. Seeding can get very expensive. How does that work in your org? Walk me through that.
It's data. It's really, really understanding your data. I am very well known as a businessman in having this ethos that I have no emotion in business. I reserve emotion for my personal life, for my friends and family, and my loved ones. When it comes to business, it's just zeros and ones. The data tells us what to do more of. The data tells us what to do less of. So when it comes to seeding, if you understand your demographics and your data metrics, you can get closer to the science of the right person to seed your product with, the right brief that they should follow when they're creating the content, because the data shows you that it's going to have the highest probability of being successful when you put your own money behind it. Because at the end of the day, the content from the creators is great, but if you're not putting money behind it, you're not going to amplify it or get any real volume from it.
How do you find the micro-influencers? Are you moving them to Discord, and organizing them? So how do you find them? How are you organizing them? How are you keeping in touch with them? How are you building that community?
It's a really good point. Finding them is one, but then cultivating them and nurturing them and building a relationship with them is the part that most people and most brands fail at. Most brands understand how to get a creator or an influencer. They don't understand how to keep them or to generate them. And I'll tell you one thing right now. I can talk about it, but that man right there, Hudson, he's done it in a way that the world has never seen before. So me explaining it doesn't do it justice. I will admit that it is important to cultivate that, but that's his stuff.
Okay, I want to open it up to the audience. Wow, there's a lot of you. This is fantastic. Raise your hand if you have a question for Wayne, Hotel Collection, Aroma 360. Go ahead and raise your hand, and what's your question? Go ahead. Here you go. Let me give you the mic.
Hi, thank you so much. That was very informative. Really liked what you said about the stadium analogy of how do you resonate with every single person. We make safety devices that are disguised as jewelry, and one of our biggest problems is we're trying to market to people whether they're 8 years old, male, female, or 80 years old. So in your perspective, can you give some examples of what was the specific messaging you used that resonated really well with every single person? Because like for us, what I struggle with is if you're 80, it's a different problem. If you're male versus female, it's a different problem. So I'm curious if you have any actionable tips on how to resonate.
So I would say, generally speaking, most people in the room would have a difficulty finding a correlation between selling scent and selling a life-saving jewelry device. My brain works differently. I just look at the key indicators, right? You're selling a feeling, you're selling an emotion, you're selling a solution. So when it comes to the scenting side, we're explaining a feeling or experience, and from an olfactory standpoint, scent is the strongest of all of our senses. It's stronger than seeing, it's stronger than hearing, it's stronger than feeling, it's stronger than tasting. So from that standpoint, we're leaning in on creating that emotion and that connection. You remember something that you smell more than any other sense that you have. When it comes to your situation, you're selling security, and you're selling it in a way that somebody doesn't feel like they have to show off the security, right? But you got to lean in on the fear aspect of it, because fear is what drives that product, and fear is what makes it, and it feels uncomfortable to do it. It probably feels like a little like gamey, but when you unlock that code, your business is going to 4x immediately.
When you ship your product and people open the box, is there a scent or a smell they smell immediately, or no?
Yes and no. In the hotel collection world, we have a lot of non-scented products. It's a full luxury lifestyle brand. There's luggage, there's wine. Shout out to my winemakers over here. And then, the wine accessories, luggage, things like that. So there's non-scented products, but generally speaking, yes. If it's a scented-based product, because we've always used 99.9% true natural oils and the highest base ingredients, it is definitely going to emulate in the packaging. But then there's also an entire follow-up flow as far as what inserts are you putting in the box, what storytelling are you putting in the box, how are you changing the experience when they have that unboxing.
Got it. I'm just curious, your first retail store, how did you pick that location? Walk me through the math behind that, and how are you making that work?
So when I say Chief Everything Officer, I mean it literally, right? So the first retail location for Roma 360 was in Wynwood, Florida, and it was also our corporate headquarters. The front of the building was the retail store. The back of the building was the full operation. So we like to test everything very hands-on in the beginning and really understand all the pieces of it. And once we build the blueprint, then you can go ahead and replicate everywhere. As you can imagine, having 31 different locations around the country, they're all their own autonomous machines. We have employees that are in Texas, we have employees that are in Arizona, we have employees that are in Florida, New York, and they're trained on the methodologies of the organization, but I can't talk to every single one of them all day long, obviously. So it's all based on perfecting the blueprint, perfecting the training modules, and then being able to deploy a strategy to expand everything.
Something Wayne does that I have never seen is, and I'll let you explain as much as you want, he has a team of people that are after every order, they're calling every single customer. I'm not sure if it's after every order or how long they wait until they call, but they call every single customer. He's got an incredible office, multiple buildings in Wynwood, and incredible people literally dialing like it's Wolf of Wall Street and calling every single customer. What's the reasoning behind that, and what's working, what's not? Is that something you would give advice to people to do, or what about something like that?
It depends on the product vertical. By the way, I know Jordan Belfort, and I don't want to be considered the Wolf of Wall Street, but I like the analogy. But when it comes down to it, depends on the brand, and it depends on what your life cycle on your LTV looks like. In our world, we like to be a full service solution to our customers because they may come in by trying a candle or a reed diffuser or a room spray, and then they'll turn into a long-term customer that we sent their entire home. So the machine gets plugged into the air conditioning and they're scenting. I look at it, and this is the part of being the delusional side of being an entrepreneur, is that everything I say, I mean. And it will sound crazy to some of you, but I actually believe everything that I say. And it goes from me all the way down to the team. So the way I look at it is, at one point in time, it was a rarity and it was a luxury for a home in the United States of America to have an air conditioner. Not everybody had one. Certain homes did, not everyone did. Fast forward to 2026, it would be very difficult for you to find homes in this country that aren't air conditioned. I believe that we're in the infancy of scenting people's homes and creating that experience, because what we've learned is our subscription model is almost like an addiction. Our attrition rates are some of the lowest in any product category possible, because once somebody starts scenting a home, they don't want to stop. They don't want that feeling to change, so they stay with us. I believe that we're in the infancy world of it, and when I look at it, the 4,000 to 5,000 homes we sent every single month with 3-year contracts all over the country, I look at that as small in comparison to the 388 million homes that are in the United States of America. So I look at it as we're just constantly shaping our customer to take them to their end goal of whole home center.
What questions do we have for Wayne? Who's got a question for Wayne? Go over here.
How many people do you have on the phones in the sales team? Are they selling mid-ticket or high-ticket products?
About 120 inside sales agents that we have here in Wynwood that act underneath the operation and the doctrination of what our brand looks and feels like. And it's mid to high ticket. It depends on the square footage of the home. And you're looking anywhere between 3,000 to upwards to 15,000.
Next question.
Hi, I'm Mario. So I'm really into TikTok Shop. My agency, we mainly do TikTok Shop, and so obviously, like, all the platforms that you're selling on are very visual heavy, and you're selling a scent. So was that a hurdle in figuring out, I guess, how to communicate and how to convert properly through your creatives, and how are you going about that?
It's a good question, and I joke about this a lot in different social circles, where it's, if you can sell something that somebody can't smell online or in live shopping, you can sell anything. What it comes down to is creating the ability for somebody in their brain to understand what they're purchasing before they purchase it. Great marketers can sell anything to you one time, because you've never touched or felt the product if you bought it online. Doesn't matter if it's scent or consumer electronics or apparel. In all of those scenarios, the first time customer bought the story. They bought the storytelling, they bought the ad, they bought the feeling, that they bought the emotion. It's the difficulty isn't selling it the first time. The difficulty is, are they going to come back and buy it again? That's when you have a great product. That's when you have a true customer. Selling something to somebody one time is never going to do it. Also, none of us break even very rarely on the first acquisition anyway. So you have to have something that has some longevity. But in our experience, the way we found how to unlock that code, if you look at Hotel Collection, the scents are inspired by and or the scents we've created for some of the most iconic hotels around the world. So if you've never been to the Ritz-Carlton before, in your brain, every single one of you right now has an idea of what the Ritz-Carlton should smell like. And that becomes the reason why you make the purchase.
We have time for one more question for Wayne. There's 2 booths here also if anybody wants to take a seat. Do you have a question? Okay.
So my question is pivoting. I think that because I know your company very well and so on and so forth, but you guys have done an incredible job of pivoting. And I think a lot of these younger people in this place might not understand that you might love your product, you might think it's the best product in the world, but it comes to a time that you have to pivot. How did you pivot, and what advice would you give them in moving that?
Thank you, Chauncey. I appreciate that. And Chauncey and Damon John's been a brand ambassador for us for years, and also very close friends. So, but it's a really good point, because it's actually something I wanted to touch on today, and I didn't. At the end of the day, everything's always changing. That's never going to stop. So it's never about what we want our customers to purchase or how we want our customers to purchase it. It's how they want to purchase it and what they want to see. So one of the best things I can get anybody to remember here is that we're doing all of this for our customers. And if you listen to your customers, they'll tell you what they want today, and they'll give you the indicators of what they're going to want tomorrow. And you can't fall into a trap of saying what worked last month is going to work next month, and what worked today is going to work tomorrow. If I told you I have a roadmap on everything that our companies will do for the next 3 years, that's a fact. 3 years from now, if I look back on today's roadmap, it's a totally different trajectory. Everything changes in every inconceivable way, and that's fine. So the roadmaps are there, but nothing's set in stone and nothing's a blueprint. We just go off of everything else. I look at, when I say to the creative team, I like that ad, I personally, Wayne Walton, don't like that ad. It's not about me. It's about the customers. I'm saying, I think, based on all the data that I've accumulated as a marketer for all these years, that the customer will like that ad. It's not about me. It's about the customer, always.
All right, thank you, Wayne. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause. The videos for this event will be ready in about a week or 2, and I know some of you cannot hear, so if you do want to come down here, and there's some seats on this side that are empty, feel free to take a seat. But I do want to invite up Ben David, who is the CEO of Clean Skin Club. All right. Can you give everybody a little background on yourself and your company, how long you've been doing this for, what your revenue is, and what your net profit is? I'm just kidding, but we'll start with that. Go ahead.
Yeah, so hey everyone. For everyone who doesn't know me, my name is Ben David. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Clean Skin Club. We're a hygiene skincare brand that launched in 2019. I'll give a little bit of my background story. So I didn't come from e-commerce. I didn't come from big business. My co-founder and I, we owned a small beauty spa with 1 treatment room and 1 esthetician. It was very small, like 700 square feet. And we knew we wanted to do something big because working in a retail store and owning a retail store is terrible. We were working 12 hours a day, about 28 days a month, making a good amount of money, but we knew that this is not sustainable. And we saw where everything is going online, and we really wanted to take that route with having zero knowledge of online. This is in 2017 when we were starting to think about what to do. And we noticed our Amazon bill one time that was very high for our supplies for our spa. We noticed that our esthetician was ordering $400 worth of cotton balls in a week. And we asked, why do we need so many cotton balls? We're a spa with one facial room. We don't make that much money for that amount of cotton balls. She said that she uses the cotton balls to dry our customers' skin. We said, wait a minute. We have a $500 Turkish towel set up with a towel warmer. Why wouldn't we use those? She said that is not that good for our patient's skin. It damages their skin barrier. It's not healthy for them. And they end up coming back with more acne, premature aging, and it's just not worth it. I said, okay, so just let's get a disposable, single-use, soft towel that we can use instead of these expensive cotton balls that leave they left a lot of lint on people's faces. She said, that's not a thing. We said, it must be a thing. Let's go find it. We went looking for it and we couldn't find it. We said, how is this not a thing? We tried face pads, we tried paper towels, we thought the Viva paper, do you guys know the Viva ones, the ones that are not extra, like, this is the one that's gonna save their skin. No, it's too rough. It's bleached, it's bad. So we start exploring for solutions. We said, if this doesn't exist, what else doesn't exist? And we noticed that the way that beauty was built, especially skincare, is we had just in our store, 50 different types of serums, 50 different types of moisturizers. And when we looked around, it turns into tens of thousands of different products that claim to do the exact same thing with the exact same ingredients, and nobody's really getting incredible results from them because people are going from serum to serum, from moisturizer to moisturizer, from brand to brand, and we thought, wait a minute, there's a step that nobody's talking about, which is facial hygiene, that after you wash your face and then you use this towel that damages your skin barrier, what happens to the skin barrier when it's not functioning? So we started learning about the skin barrier. This was a very challenging time in my life because we still have a spa to run, right? So we're working 12 hours in the spa every day. We're sitting in the spa learning while we're talking to customers. The cool thing is that we can talk to our patients about it. We can try products on them. We had like a little clinical study there, so every time they came to a facial, we let them try different stuff, different face pads, different wipes, different towels, and we could learn from that a lot. So 12 hours we're working in the spa. We go back home. We stay up all night because we had to source it from Alibaba, from Asia mostly, and they're awake at night. So you finish the work in the spa, you go home, and then you start working on your brand. This is in, again, 2017 still. And we're learning, we're trying to figure out, are we going to be able to revolutionize this skincare industry by creating a new category in the market? We never ran an e-commerce business before. We don't know how to sell products. We kind of understand skincare because we have our spa. But what the hell? We're young, we got a lot of money saved up. Let's just gamble all of it. And then if we lose, we can always go back to the spa because it makes a lot of money, but we kind of hate doing it. So might as well do it now because we're not going to get another chance. And I'm sure a lot of you are in the same situation right now. Well, basically saying, fuck it. If it goes to zero and I'm failing, I'm still young enough to go and do it again. And we always said, it's not really a question of if this happens, it's a question of when. It's not with this business, with the next business. But we said, if there's any time to go all in, it's now. So we were working all day, we were working all night. We came back to work in the spa, trying the stuff that we got delivered from Asia, that we work at nighttime. And this was a year. It probably was the hardest year of my life ever. And I was in the military before. This was harder than that, since there was just no breaks. It was just work, 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 side hustle with the main business. And then we launched at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019. And we started to think, how are we going to introduce this new category with this new product line that is based on a disposable face towel that nobody even understands that it's good for them. We don't even know if people are going to like it. How are we doing it? Okay, we should hire a big marketing company. They're going to make us rich, right? Like, let's find the biggest company and use all of our savings for that. That sounds like an amazing idea at the time. So we found this company, I'm not going to mention my name, from New York City, worked with Tropicana, with Pepsi, and we're like, this is it. You give them the reins, they do the ads, and then you become rich, right? That's how it works. That is not how it worked. That is how you lose $500,000 in about 4 months. That is how you burn your life savings trusting people just because they had some billboards. That was the moment that I understood that I'm very dumb in marketing. It's not send it and forget it. So we tried to do that. Didn't really work out a lot. For people here who do paid marketing, our ROAS was 0.1. Yeah, so all the people here at 0.3 are not doing that as bad as you thought. But the problem was that the marketing company told us, this is actually really good numbers for you, for starting. Well, when I'm paying you 40 grand a month, of course you're gonna tell me that, right? And then we said, okay, let's not work with these guys anymore. Let's find a cheaper one because we can't afford it and the results are, we're starting to understand, wait, these results are crap. Found a cheaper marketing company, pretty much did the same thing for us, but we paid them less, so we were technically making more money, right? And then it came to, I found this kid, this was here in Boca Raton. This kid, it was 18 at the time. And he said, no, I do paid media. I can do this for you. I was like, listen, I'll give you $2 grand a month, but I have to be with you the entire time, right? I gotta see everything that you're doing, and that's the only way I'm gonna do. We did that, and then I started learning what marketing really is. I sat with a guy every day for about 8 hours, and then when he left, I literally had him come to my apartment with a laptop. It's kind of awkward. 18-year-old guy, 30-year-old guy, hey. But at the end of the day, like, I learned a lot in like 2 months, and when he left, I just went on YouTube. I was watching a lot of the old style gurus. If you guys know Ezra Firestone, you remember that? Like, that was the time that I got addicted to watching YouTube and learning these things, right? So after 2 months, I could let the guy go and I could start running marketing myself. And what I understood is, this is very, very difficult when you're introducing a new product and a new category that people are not aware of. Eventually, what I learned is that as much as I was talking about how great our product is, how we worked hard on it, the benefit that it's going to give people, it didn't do crap. And then one day, we had another job. So sorry, I didn't mention this part, but we sold the spa for $1 because we didn't have a choice because nobody would buy it. It was right before COVID, so it was actually a pretty good deal for us. I went to work. I was working at trade shows. I was selling other people's products to be able to afford the money that I'm paying the marketing companies. So one time I was at a trade show in San Francisco, and I got there the day before the show started. I was in my hotel, and I was sitting on my laptop. I was watching Ezra Firestone, and I started to read about listicles. So some of you guys remember, it used to be a thing. It's still a thing, but it used to be the thing of 5 reasons to X. In 2019, it was what everybody's been doing. It was the biggest hack. And I started looking at our product, and I started looking at what we're trying to do, and I read all of the reviews that we had, all of our 25 reviews, and I saw a lot of them weren't speaking about our product. They were speaking about their towels. They were speaking about what they did before, and one of them was very meaningful to me. One of them was this girl from New York. Her name is Renee, and she said, I bought the product, and then I had a break. I didn't buy it for a week, and I wasn't able to use my towel anymore. And then I saw, okay, it's not wanting to be better for her. It's not really being excited about our product. It's the fear of what she did before. So for this one person, we've created a new standard of living and a habit that she cannot stay away from. And that was the big aha moment for me. So I decided to launch 5 reasons. No, it wasn't 5 reasons. It was the truth about face towels. I took a photo from Shutterstock. I found the most kind of like popping out look for a woman I could find. It was a redhead woman. She was going like, sure, like it's a conspiracy theory. And it said, the truth about face towels. And I launched the campaign and I went to sleep and I woke up in the morning and I saw 0.8 ROAS. Wow. My world has opened up. I did not believe what I've been seeing, all these big marketing companies, and I could find this from one night. Incredible. So that's where the business really started growing. When we start talking about the problem and not talking about our solution. We kept pushing it as aggressively as we can. We still worked at doing trade shows in order to fund the business, but we noticed that a lot of people are coming back for our towels. When people are buying the towels, they're not going back to their regular towels because it sucks. Because now they understand the damage that it was causing them all these years. And we found that that was the solution. So we grew the business. Year 1, we did $500,000 in revenue. Net loss probably around $800K. But we kept funding it because we knew that the people that are coming back, like they're going to stay with us for years. They're not going back to their towels, and we firmly believed in that. Year 2 was 2020. We started off super strong, and then 3 months in, our factory from China goes, hey, so we're making face masks now because there's this thing called COVID, and we're not going to be able to make your product anymore until further notice. Okay, well, what do we do now? We have a warehouse, we have like 3 employees that we need to pay, and we have a ton of customers that don't want to go back to regular towels. They're scared as hell. So we said, okay, we need about $40,000 in order to sustain the business and not to go broke completely. So we went to our customer base, which was really small at a time, and we said, hey, listen guys, here's the problem. COVID's happening right now, and at the time that you need disposable stuff the most, right? Like, they're buying everything disposable. They're buying gloves that they never used in their life. People are working out of gloves. We're like, this is when we're going to scale, and their factory goes, great, but we can't manufacture it right now because we're too busy making masks. We go to our customer base, listen guys, like, we're going to need you guys to pre-order. We're not sure when we're going to be able to manufacture it, but once we do manufacture it, like 10,000 miles away, we're probably going to send it to you. And we thought, okay, we can get $40,000. We sent out email, like it was 3 emails. About a week later, we had $180,000 in pre-orders from a business that the year before did $500,000. And we didn't understand what was going on. And then we started reading the people were ordering, like their AOV was double with the product not being manufactured. So we started to ask, like, why would they do that? And we got all the response was very similar. It's not a product that I want. This is a product that I now need. There's no other alternative. I need this, so I will pay extra to make sure you sustain the business because I can't live without it. Wasn't a lot of customers, but it was enough to sustain the business. Going forward, our factory opened back up. We could fulfill the orders. It was great. We finished that year with $2.5 million in sales. But that was the year that we understood 2 big things. We have a product that people need, not a product that people want. And the second thing, we're going to get a lot of copycats really, really fast. Very, very, very fast. So we got to step on the gas. We got to go to retail. So that was 2020. Then 2021, we grew, not by a lot, we grew to 15 million. We were doing it responsibly with our 0.9 ROAS now. We were thriving. And we were never profitable, but we knew what's going to happen later on when we really just wanted to enforce that feeling. So he said, okay, what's the best way to go fast and hard before Neutrogena or Estee Lauder copies us? We got to go to retail. So we went to Target. We pitched to Target in 2022. We showed them our data. People buy this product. They have an insane retention rate. This is a new category. This is a new habit. Once you put it on your shelf, it's fully incremental for your store. Meaning, when people go and you sell another shampoo to Target, when the consumer buys it, they're buying it instead of a different shampoo. If they were buying a more expensive shampoo before, they're trading down. Target's actually losing money. If they're buying a more expensive shampoo for you, Target's making the delta, so the difference, which is like $1 or $2, it's really not a big difference. But for us, this was brand new revenue. We pitched to them, this is going right to your bottom line with a high retention product that is gonna change your beauty business with this category. And we got from them, yeah, no, we don't think so. We said, why, how? Look at the numbers, look at the retention rate. People love it, people need it. This is gonna stay for decades. They said, we've seen these things. This can be a trend. They're gonna do it 1 year, 2 years, and then they're gonna stop. They're gonna stop doing it. You guys remember NFTs? Everybody's like, this is gonna stay here forever. Trend. Target said the same thing about us. They're like, people are gonna do it for a little bit and then they're gonna stop. You guys gotta go, and you guys gotta show us that this is here to stay. So we went back, and we were really demotivated because we thought they're gonna take it for sure. And we said, okay, we need to learn how to turn this into a habit for people as fast as we can before we get knocked off left and right. The challenge is when you're so unprofitable on acquiring customers, which we were not making any money until like 4 or 5 months later. So we just decided to take big loans, talk to our customers daily, and work on the science of what creates a habit. What we've noticed is that the single thing that creates a new category or a habit that people are not used to is the fear of going back to what it was before. I'll give an example that's not from my business. Let's take, where's Hudson? Let's take comfort. Once people travel with their comfort set once, and then let's say a month or two later they're traveling again, but the comfort set is in the laundry. Now they gotta get the H&M one, and they're traveling with it, and they're feeling like shit. Because they don't feel that comfort. They don't feel that hoodie. And that's the moment that you made the customer really love your product and really turn it into a habit. Once you use your Boca toothpaste with the cinnamon flavor and you love it, and then that's not the time that it turns into a habit. The habit starts when you need to go back to your Colgate, you're using it, and you're hating it. That's when you know that you established a new type of behavior. So we said, okay, this is what we must do. We must make people fear of going back. And yeah, fear is like a big word, but at the end of the day, everyone here has an iPhone right now, and we don't even remember what it was. I had a flip phone. I'm not that old, but my first phone was a flip phone. I can never see myself going back to a flip phone because it's a habit that was established in me. So we really went deep into the science of how do we do it, how do we communicate it. We tried a lot of stuff. The first thing we tried, this was stupid, we sent the product for the first few years actually with stickers. It was dual-sided stickers, and our product would come from the bottom like a dispenser, and we wanted people to glue it to their mirror so it's always there. And then they just gotta pull it out. Sounds like a great idea. Well, we paid like $30,000 to fix drywalls of people because we needed really strong stickers. So we would get photos all the time of like, look what you did. Like, I love the towels, but I also love my drywall. So we paid a lot of money doing that. That was not the best idea, but it was one of the ways that we tried to enforce the habits. Second thing we did is we wanted to make a box for it. We said, we want to be there all the time. We're a bacteria-free towel. People rip it open, and then it just sits there on the counter. It's white. It's not the most beautiful thing in their beautiful bathroom. We had really good customers that invest a lot of money in building out their bathrooms. So that box there is just not up to par, so people would put it underneath the counter. So then guests would come in, and we lose all the referrals because the box didn't look good enough. So we made a bamboo container for it. That now it's permanent, that people can do it. We thought this is going to be like Nespresso. You have the machine, and when it's empty, you got to buy more capsules. So we did that. That actually worked. That was the first thing that worked. We launched it. It was a great success from the beginning. We saw increased retention rate. It helped us to enforce the habits. The problem was for us, when the copycats started to come in, this is 2022, 2023, we didn't know what differentiates our product from a commodity. Because at the same time, you need to introduce to the entire population of the United States, we shouldn't use towels anymore at all on our face towels, because we're damaging our skin. So not only you need to start this new behavior, you also need to choose us for almost 60% more than our copycats, which were probably our factories. We're pretty sure it's them. They deny it, but you know. That was the biggest challenge for us. Like the newest biggest challenge. You need to enforce a behavior, you need to say why it's only you. So the next path for us, and now we're in 2022, was to have a variety of products. So not one size fit all, but specific products for specific people. We were looking a lot at Nespresso. Nespresso they had like 3 flavors in the beginning, and now they have like hundreds, because personalization is the key to category creation, apparently. So it's not just one size fit all, it's you have in different colors, different shapes, different scents, different whatever. But we were a towel. We can't do colors on the towel, because then we're gonna have paint on it, and it's not gonna be that clean. So we had to find a new way to do it. So we kind of learned about different skin types, what do they need, what is the science behind the skin barrier, how does it work, and we start working on these new products. That's also the year, 2022, that we saw our Amazon sales beating our D2C sales. That scared us, because right now, Amazon people look at it way more nicely than they did in 2019. In 2019, we were talking to, 2022, we were talking to bankers, we were talking to private equity firms to learn about how much our business is worth, what should we do with it, and everybody said stay away from Amazon. Amazon, the more your business revenue comes from Amazon, the less you're gonna be valued. Which was really weird for us, because everything I was buying was from Amazon to my house. There's an audience in the United States that only shops from Amazon. I'm one of them. And the audience just keeps growing and growing and growing. So he said, how is that possible? That this platform is the only place that I can get same day, free shipping. I go to our website, and it takes me 5 freaking business days to get it. Doesn't make any sense. And I'm paying shipping. Doesn't make sense at all. So 2022 was the year that we finished with 15 million in sales, but we knew we had to go fast. So our goal was, fuck what the banker said, let's focus on Amazon, let's drive traffic to Amazon, and let's start spending heavy on Amazon and see what happens. That was our biggest kind of aha moment with marketing, which allowed us to grow from 2022 to 2023. We grew from 15 to 47 million. That was a big turnkey for us.
We are running out of time, just a little bit.
Sorry.
So no, it's okay. It's been an amazing story. What's your ROAS right now?
My ROAS right now is still 0.9.
Amazing.
Never change it still. But I'll finish up my story real quick. And I can continue talking about it a long, long time. But backtrack to 2025, 2024, we talked to Target again. That was the year that we hit 9 figures for the first time. We hit, it was 100 million and 200,000. And Target took us in, and then our biggest challenge was everything that we said, all the fear, all the explanations, to show that in 4 seconds when a customer sees it on a box. That was our next journey that I can maybe touch at a different point, different time. But fast track to 2025, we launched at Target. We did everything that we need in order to educate the population. People now are aware of us.
I'm sorry, so how did you get into, just really quickly, how did you get into Target? What was that first DM? What was it?
So we tried to reach to Target directly. They didn't give a shit about us. And then we heard about Cosmoprof, which actually happened yesterday. I think it's also happening today. And we decided to go crazy with a booth. Put like 80 grand to do a really nice booth. We put a big towel hanging from the ceiling that's spinning. And then they told us, hey, you know the skincare buyer of Target that was supposed to come to the show? Well, she has COVID. So she didn't come to the show. So we were bummed, like we lost money. But then the hair care buyer came. Her name's Mimi. And she came over, we kind of met her, and she introduced to the skincare buyer. She got us in.
COVID was great to you.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
right.
That's a great story.
But to summarize my story, we just finished our first year at Target. Happy to say that we finished in top 10 brands in the facial skincare category, beating brands like L'Oreal in revenue, which we're super proud of. Next year, you're going to see us in a lot of more retailers.
We have time for maybe one or two questions. If anybody have one question that knows Clean Skin Club, any questions for Ben David? Yes.
It's not quite a question. I work at Amazon, and I just want you to know that we have one of your products in our headquarters office as the top seller on Amazon, and it's on a shelf for every Amazonian to see.
Thank you.
Super fast. What makes it the best seller? Like, what is the one Amazon strategy or growth hack that is super important to you, that is right in the back of your head that you don't want to say right now?
Read every single review, the good ones, the medium ones, and the bad one. Analyze the hell out of it. Go every day and read every new review and obsess about reviews. We were a 4.4 star product on Amazon. It was not doing amazing. We went and did work on the brand. The version that you have right now at Target for our stores is about our 22nd, 23rd version of the product. We kept iterating in order to have perfection. When you're creating a category and you're in a competitive market, the experience for the customer cannot be okay, it can't be good, it can't be very good. It has to be astronomically 10 times better than the second best.
Super quick, are you creating a new ASIN when you have a new iteration, or are you just iterating on the product and then shipping it in?
So that's a really good question. In the beginning, we would put everything in the same, so we would launch new variants into our main listing, since they get all of them the same reviews, and then we would separate them after they would get to 1,000 reviews. Now we're actually going with a different strategy of launching them independently, and we put them in 3 different phases. Our first phase on the product is get to 1,000 reviews as fast as possible. If the product reaches this review goal, which for us is 4.6 to 4.8, then it goes to phase 2, which is scale. Then we look, just like in B2C, we look at CAC LTV, and we try to be as aggressive as we can. Once the product reaches, that's for us, everybody will have the different measurements for this, but once our product reaches 8 figures, so 10 million a year in revenue, we will turn it into profit mode. That is our third phase. It's not going to be the same for everyone. It's going to be different, and also for us with different product categories, it's different revenue goals for each phase, but those are kind of our general 3 phases.
Amazing. All right, thank you so much, Ben David. Thank you for taking the time. Let's have up Kevin Gould. Where's Kevin? Kevin is the co-founder of Glamnetic. Here he comes. All right, Kevin. It's great to see you.
This guy always has a smile on his face.
Thank you, Kevin, for coming today. You know, Glamnetic, really cool company. If you could give your background and your background on Glamnetic and maybe your co-founder as well, that would be great. We'll go from there.
Yeah, I guess give you guys a quick background. So I actually started my career on the entertainment side. So I started in the mailroom at WME. So for those of you guys who watch Entourage, it's kind of like where you get your ass kicked and you become an assistant. But it was really where I gained a lot of relationships and a network in the entertainment world. And then I left a couple years in, and I started a company that I ran for like 10 years, managing a lot of big YouTubers and digital influencers. And probably like 10 years ago, I angel invested in a beauty business called BeautyCon, which was like this big experiential Super Bowl for beauty. And I honestly fell in love with the beauty space, and then kind of cut to 2019. I ended up starting 2 different brands. One is Glamnetic, which is a press-on nail and was mostly a lash business, which we'll talk about. And now it's a press-on nail business. And then I&H Hair, which is a hair extension and hair brand.
So you just talked about something really interesting. You started as a lash brand. You went to press-on nails. How did you discover that category? Why did you pivot? What wasn't working?
Yeah, by the way, I think with the through line I've heard here so far today, both from Wayne and Ben, is there's lots of ups and downs along the way. And I know Wayne talked about pivoting a little bit. And for sure for us, there was a hard pivot a couple years into the business. And so when we launched the business in 2019, it was astronomical growth. And I think there were a lot of factors that contributed to that. But we went 1 to 50 million in a year just as a lash business.
You went 1 to 50 million in 1 year.
Yeah, 2019 to 2020, we went 1 to 50, which sounds amazing at the time. but there were so many,
everyone thinks it's horrible.
So many key learnings. Well, who in here, by the way, has had a business that's went up and went down? Just raise your hands if you've had something. All right, so you guys know that, some of you may be going through it now. Some of you may have got out on the other side. At the time, it's the worst thing in the world, but after it, it's actually the best thing in the world, and it makes you a stronger operator. And so for us, when we were underwriting that we're going to go to 150 the next year, right? Because why wouldn't you? You want 1 to 50, and we ended up in 2020. We wanted to be kind of like a DIY beauty brand. The nail category was starting to trend, so we launched Press On Nails, and luckily we did that because the following year. Go ahead.
How did you know to do that?
I think it's like anything, right? I think there was a little bit of insight and a little bit of luck that we launched it. And what ended up happening essentially is from 2020 to 21 and 22, we went 1 to 50, and then we were flat again because we were battling the headwinds of what everyone else was with the D2C CACs rising, as well as the lash category going back and reverting back to what it should have really been in 2019. And then we had this growing nail business. And so we really had, and then the next year, our revenue dipped 25%. And that was not fun. And it was really a 2.5 year pivot to get out of that. And we realized that the nail category had a much bigger TAM. There was higher consumability, and there was a lot more retail space and expansion. And so then that kind of left us with a 2 year kind of hard pivot into the nail category, which we're in today.
Okay. You're also in retail. Can you tell me, how did you get into retail? What was the first store that you went into? Maybe what are your margins compared to D2C or Amazon, and how's that going?
So we launched initially in retail in Ulta in 2020 with our lash category. And Ulta's been an amazing partner with us. We've been in there for the last 6 years. And then the following year, we launched with the nail category. We initially got in actually because they reached out to us. And I think that it's a really important thing to think about is when is the right time to go into retail. For us, we had spent so much money on brand halo and awareness in the category that we're in that we thought it made a lot of sense. And so we initially launched in 2020 and then kind of expanded from there.
How do you know which products to put in retail? How do you, walk us through that, walk us through some end caps, walk us through, what's working and maybe what the next pivot is or the next step with retail. And if you're going to have your own store.
I don't think we're gonna have our own stores anytime soon, but maybe I'll kind of cut to today and where the brand sits in retail today. And I think for a lot of brands in this room, it's the natural progression of where you start D2C, gain awareness, and then you've got this kind of permission to play to go to retail. And so for us, today we're in Ulta, Sephora, Target. We launched a sub-line that's a more everyday value line that actually launches in 2,700 Walmarts this week. We're in Shoppers Drug Mart, which is in Canada, and then we're in the UK, which is in Boots. But there were a lot of key learnings along the way that we just didn't think about.
What were some of those? And also payment terms, anything that you can tell us that's interesting?
Well, I think there's two things when going into retail that you need to be ready on. You need to be ready that your brand has enough awareness that you're going to actually drive real dollars, because you have one shot at retail, and these retailers are ruthless, and if you don't sell through, you're going to get kicked out. The second thing you need to be really, really prepared on is your operational chops, and that you're going to be able to forecast effectively, be able to actually fulfill the stores. Because I think every founder, you get so excited about the idea of going into retail, but then you forget about all the things that you have to actually execute on to get in there and stay in there. And so the sell-in doesn't matter. Your first sell-in order that you sell to the retailer is not important. The sell-through and the continuous sell-through is the most important thing. And in order to do that, you have to have a really tight, buttoned-up operations team. And then I think to answer your question on the cash flow side, these retailers don't pay you for 90 days, right? So if you're manufacturing overseas, you're putting the goods on the water, you're trying to float that for 90 days, you have to really like take cash flow into account. And for us, that was probably the typical path that a lot of you guys took with like the Clear Codes of the world and the Amplas and these high interest loans, until finally we went to, I think our bank's here somewhere with Citizen Bank, but we went to a bank and now we have a 25 million revolver that we can use. But for years it was like being extremely tight on cash flow. And then I think, then you have to think about the product a lot differently. With D2C, you're thinking about this beautiful landing page that you're telling the story and educating, capturing someone and putting them in your funnel. In a retail setting, you've got like 3 seconds or less. It's like the hook on an ad that you've got to hook them with the packaging, the lighting, the way it looks. And so for us, we really had to kind of reimagine the way that we were merchandising retail, because we honestly fucked a lot of stuff up in the beginning and had to go back and...
What's one thing you fucked up?
Things as simple as like we, with nails at the time, we had a horizontal box, which when we were a D2C business, it didn't matter. Were we horizontal or were we vertical? And then we realized when we went in, these retailers care about like productivity per square inch. And so then we realized very quickly, oh, you flip the box to vertical and you can fit one extra nail on the shelf and you're automatically 20% more productive. Education is really, really important in retail, right? If someone's familiar with the press-on nail category, you're not trying to educate that person, you're trying to get them to come into your brand. But if there's a net new user that hasn't tried press-on nails before, all of the education that surrounds the your end cap or your shelf has to be spot on, and it has to capture them in. And so we made a lot of like changes and mistakes along the way there.
Okay. Can you tell us about maybe attribution and what you're doing there on the meta side, or anything along that side?
When it comes to retail?
Retail or D2C, and I think you use Northbeam, so I'm kind of curious what you think of them. And
yeah, look, we've used Northbeam for a really long time. The other thing that gets really, really hard when you're making that transition from D2C to retail is the attribution side of how are you measuring the uplift. And it's really hard. We've done it a couple different ways. We're looking obviously from a per channel perspective on D2C, Amazon, and retail at the attribution per channel, but now we're looking a lot more at what is the top of funnel halo and lift through a Northbeam or a WorkMagic. We're also kind of testing out, but I know Northbeam just rolled out their new feature there, where we're trying to figure out what is that incremental if we can push and spend more on D2C, because obviously the ROAS on D2C we're having to lean a lot heavier into. But the beauty for every D2C brand that goes to retail, if you get the terms right with retail, which is really, really important, is it ends up being a fairly high margin business. And when you look at your channels on an individual basis, your percent of spend on D2C is super high, but your percent of spend on retail is super low. And TikTok and D2C is lifting all tides.
Can you also maybe talk about your org chart, your org structure? How's that, and managing, let's say, U.S. employees versus offshore employees?
Yeah, so we've probably got 45 U.S. employees and 30 or 40 team members overseas. And we're kind of in that natural progression, and every brand, depending on how big you are, goes through this phase. When you're in like the 10 million phase, you're missing lots of key pieces, but you need a couple of these key people to get to the next level, so you kind of have to pick and choose where you're weakest at and hire for that one senior level role. And then now we're at the point we're at now, we've got a pretty built out executive leadership team in every department. And then what we've done, and we work with you guys really closely with this, and I don't even know if you guys know what Jared does, but Jared runs an overseas recruiting agency, and I think a lot of us use them. And by the way, thank you for putting this on. You've done a great job. And the key is stacking the strategy in the U.S. and having really strong, incredible team members overseas that are dialed in with briefs and KPIs on a lot of the executional work. So for example, on TikTok, we have 3 TikTok shop managers over in Pakistan who are incredible. And it's a real unlock for the business.
Something Kevin does actually as a founder, and we're working with Kevin. I think something special is Kevin creates KPIs in a way where in the first 0 to 30 days, he understands, okay, are we bringing this person into the business who has done this before, or is coming into the business to build it from the ground up? Like, are they the foundational people, or are they coming in, they've done it before, they can just plug and play? And so Kevin's really good at creating a scorecard for every single hire in the first 0 to 30 days, what are their KPIs, and measuring them on a weekly basis.
Yeah, I mean, there's the measurement side, the technical side of is this person the right fit for the business? I think the other thing that isn't talked enough about is like the cultural fit side, and because bad cultural fit can really mess up the business. We deploy. There's a book out there called The Ideal Team Player. It's a really easy read. Would encourage you guys to read it. We hire people based off of, ideally they're fitting. Are they humble, hungry, and smart? Humble is what it is. Do they have an ego? Are they low ego? Hungry is like, are they proactive? We don't want reactive people. I don't work well with reactive people. Are they autonomous? Can they think for themselves? And smart is not intelligence smart. Smart is, do they have high emotional IQ? Are they good communicators? Everyone has that person at their company that causes chaos on Slack because they're not a good communicator. That's a person that's a great example of low on the smart score. And ideally, you're looking for people that rank high in all of those traits, because I think organizational health is the lifeblood of your business that everyone has to pay a lot of attention to, particularly as you scale.
Before we take a few questions, something he doesn't know I'm going to ask this, but something I got to witness was Kevin do a few meetings with his team. And Kevin is an incredible meeting runner, where he's the best listener on these calls and really take it all in and run an incredible meeting with his team, with his internal team. And so I'm curious if you can give maybe any tips. You are literally the calmest person on these calls that I've ever seen. Maybe any tips, because I think that also speaks to the structure and how you manage your people and why they love you so much. And so something along that is, I think, is interesting.
I appreciate that. I want to come back to that because what you just brought up about listening just brought me back to a point that I think we should touch on retail for a second. Normally what happens when you go and pitch a retailer, you're so naturally excited to get into the retailer that you're spending your entire time thinking about what you want and what you're pitching. And what I see a lot of founders forget is you're forgetting to listen to what the retailer actually wants and what they want from you. So one of the biggest tips I would say when you're going to meet with a retailer, stop pitching your brand, right? That can come. Go ask the retailer what they're looking for. What is the buyer, where's the buyer have a hole in the category? They're looking for incrementality. So I had someone DM me the other day, and I know I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, and I'll tie it back to what you're bringing in. But he had a $10 million supplement business overseas, and he was like, hey, I want to go into retail. And the first question I asked him is like, well, one, it's too small, but for a supplement business to go into US retail with an international business. But two, what's your value prop? What are you going to do for the retailer? How are you going to drive incrementality? And you really have to think through those things, or otherwise you're hogging their time rather than delivering value for them. And then I think, to go back to your point on driving effective meetings, it's been like a constant evolution over time. I think founders have a tendency to shoot from the hip, which lends itself to a lot of, in a lot of ways of being an entrepreneur. But I think as you progress into hopefully a strong manager and a leader, you need to be clear, direct, KPI driven, an active listener. Let your entire team, you want healthy debate, right? You don't want infighting, but you want healthy debate. And I think you as the founder or the leader have to set the stage from the start and be very clear and direct to the team about about how you want to run a meeting in order to do that.
Cool. Thank you, Kevin. Does anybody have any questions for Kevin? Yes, okay. Joanne?
Thank you. This has been so informative. You mentioned your executive team and that you also have folks that are overseas. I have been at this for 12 years. I think I have a 50% success rate when it comes to hiring executives. Half of them work, half of them are useless. What do you look for when you're hiring executives in a fast growth business? And has that changed at all, knowing they're leading overseas teams instead of like empire building in the office?
Yeah. I'll talk about the overseas team first, and I'll talk about what we're looking for with the leadership. One of the big issues when you have an org that does not have anyone overseas is getting buy-in internally. So the other part of being a founder is getting buy-in from your team. You would think it would be the opposite. It's like, sometimes I say you do. That's not how a company works, right? You need your team to buy into it. And so in the beginning, it was really, really hard to get buy-in from certain people, particularly when there's a 50-50 hit rate on bringing in people. And so we really had to show them the way on how it's a huge unlock to their business by having a team overseas. And I think they came around once they saw that it is a real unlock, but it took some time. I think from a leadership perspective, now we're at a place when we hire any leader in the team, they obviously need to come with the technical skill set, but I really lean on that humble, hungry, smart piece. Proactiveness for me is a really, really big one. If you have someone that sits back and is reactive, then you're not going to be able to drive at the place you need. And we're never perfect, right? We still, I'd say we probably have an 85% hit rate on team members. You're never going to be sure until they come in. And then, I think the key is you have to quickly adjust. I think every founder probably has this experience where you've known someone is not the right fit for a business, and you let it linger and let it linger, and you think it's going to get better. And it's for both sides. It would have been much better if you cut it earlier. And I think that's really important. And most founders are very empathetic, so they don't want to do that. And I am too. But it's not the right fit, and you have to cut loose and move on.
I want to say thank you to Kevin for your time today. I happen to know Kevin personally, and he is a wealth of information. So go up to him, ask him any question you want. He knows everything from D2C and Shopify, retail. But without further ado, we want to introduce the man of the hour, Hudson Leogrande, CEO and founder of Comfort. All right. Hudson, if you want to give a little background on yourself and the company, and we're also honored to have Hudson's mom in the audience today.
Yes.
And his little brother.
Guys, bring it in. All right, I want you to be able to hear me, okay? We didn't plan for this, but I know everyone here is getting a good show, so. Yeah, guys, listen, this is a little bit, we're good. This is a little different for me than normal. You guys all know my story, and you all know, what we've been building, and a lot of familiar faces here, and, I want this to be about you guys, right? I think e-commerce is changing, the world is changing, the way that we make content, the shit that I'm hearing, I think it's Frost Buddy over there.
Where's Brock?
Dude, I'm hearing the craziest stats ever about you. You did your whole year in 1 month. That is the and it's all based off of the ideation of how we market our brands and how we make content. So I want to get into that. I know you probably have some questions for me, or I could just.
I would love to get into it. The two main things that I want you to cover in addition to that is what you've been posting about, which is international expansion.
Yes.
And TikTok on the influencer side, on the discourse side, on all that.
Sorry guys, I'm getting over the flu, so just bear with me. International for us is unbelievable right now. I have my team here. We've been pushing for this for a long time. We're in a few days we are already at 6 figures a day. We utilize a company called Passport, shipping from our 3PLs inside the United States. And for us, the US creatives are winning right now. They're better than the localized creatives, which we've heard from some of my friends that run their ads in other countries as well. But America is the hardest market to break into. It really is. There's so many competitors that when you crack the code here, people in other countries, they want to buy American brands. they just do, right? The same way that we want to buy brands from like a cool Australia brand, like CSB is fucking killing it, and everybody knows, every woman here knows what CSB is. Like, it's an important thing for you guys to know, like, for me, right, what I've mastered and what I've worked so hard on, because a lot of you guys see the success now and you think like it just happened. I had 6 years of no growth. Like nothing. Like I was probably the worst in e-commerce out of everybody. Like it was almost like I could have just went on YouTube and probably saved 4 years. What I am doing right now is I'm creating an unmatched community of people that like, trust, and respect me and want to work for my brand because they don't see another way that is going to treat them the way that we treat them inside the company. Everybody here has a business that is successful, right? A lot of you guys here have some huge businesses. There's a lot of 9-figure companies here. You have to be aware that if you treat people so well, they're not just an asset of the business. They're real people that have emotions, that have feelings, that are going to have a blow-up video where they get 50 negative comments a day talking about their bad fucking spray tan. Like, it happens. And you guys have to be the ones to be the part-time therapist and have a team that's there, that's going to be there to guide them and show them what it's becoming. My whole ideation of my fucking life is thoughts become things, and don't look at things for what they are, but for what they're becoming. This whole thing was a thought. I'm not famous, I'm just a regular fucking guy, and all you guys are coming and taking pictures with me, and I'm like, this is the first time this has ever happened in my life. All I wanted to do was be successful. I was willing to sacrifice every fucking thing in my life to be successful. So everybody here that is looking to have, you know, this unbelievable business growth, like what we're hearing all over, is like, you need to find people that do not know what they don't know. They need to be small creators that have these hopes of being great and making money. They work a 9 to 5. They're a mother of 3. They live in the middle of Kansas. Like shit that like doesn't even exist in their world. You go and you enlighten them on what it could be. I dangle the carrot and I show them what it can become. I have millionaires that I've created. I will create as many millionaires as the lotto this year of people that are earning commission. Like 10% commission can make you a multi-millionaire if you come and work at Comfort. But you have to make 15 videos a day. You have to understand what we're doing. You have to learn the business in and out. They can come up here and speak the same way that I am, and you create an army of people that are just like you, that want to understand, like, this is where the future is going. TikTok Shop is not going anywhere. I mean, they just did the deal, you know, and for everyone that's like freaking out about the whole FBT gotta ship to, you know, just, it's a thing, but, you know, just make up a really good excuse and hopefully you can save yourself a year. It's, TikTok Shop is changing. The world is changing. All of my content is posted on TikTok and repurposed across all channels, right? So the way that we do it is all the content is made in-house. Everything is uploaded through a Google Drive. And then the Google Drive is where my media buyer will pull and be able to run all of our ads. You guys have to, you know, I think it was Ben that was talking about it, like, you gotta check your team. If you don't know what every single fucking department is doing in your company, I can guarantee you you're losing money. Like, it is just point blank. Me, because I did not realize that I could hire people to help my company, it took me a very long time to understand that, I did every single aspect of the job. Every single thing that is done at my company right now, at one point I did. Probably not great, probably really bad, but I did do it. And I learned it, and I wanted to learn more and more and more so that I could be able to say, let me fact check my media buyer. He's my boy, I love him, but let me see what he's doing. Let me see if he's making mistakes. Let me look at the business, because no one cares about your business more than you do, no matter what. And the key to building a successful brand, I'm gonna do probably 1.4 billion in revenue this year. That's the first time I've been public about that. We're gonna be $1 billion company. We are a team of 63 people. companies at my scale have 400 or 500 employees. I have a lean team that has taken ownership in my business. It is their business, and they know, because I'm fucking vulnerable, that my business would fail tomorrow if they all quit. I have a group of them right here. If I didn't have them tomorrow, I would be royally screwed. So everything that you guys are doing right now is build a creator base, get the content. It's a quality and quantity game. The ad that we think is going to win probably doesn't fucking win. It's the 50 ads that you get that run, and then you go and you finally find 1 or 2 winners, and then you go and you duplicate it out. The levels of success at this stage is the process of duplication. If it works, you do it again and again and again and again and again and again, and then you do it 500 billion times more again. Because you don't reinvent the wheel. If you find how your business is driving you in, you have to make it where you're solving a problem. You have to be the dominator in the market. Like, I just launched Comfort Core yesterday. I'm going to fucking annihilate everybody. Like, I launched the product, and it's going to blow through everybody, because I know my price points are better, my quality is better, my creative is better, my colors are studied. I go on Particle and I look at every single brand that's in my space. What's the best colors? What's the best performers? I study the fucking game. Everybody here, take the extra step and go figure it out. Like, we are in the gold rush of ecom. There are so many millionaires and billionaires that are going to be created from what we are doing today. And I'm really happy that I get to meet you guys, because some of you have taken my strategies and you've changed your entire business. Some of you are saying that literally your company was going bankrupt, and then you listened to one of my YouTube videos and now your whole company has changed. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm just looking at the writing on the wall. Dinosaur ads are dead. Billboards suck. No one gives a fuck about the celebrities. Everyone cares about the micro affiliate that is the person that is going out and going to make 50 pieces of content for you and make so much content, and they're so relatable and they're so normal that people are going to be able to relate and align with them at a point where they're evoking emotion from every single customer, and that's how you go and you get purchases. As you scale, ROAS can drop. You could get even a lower ROAS than Ben. Like, it is the truth, right? Like, you gotta go and you gotta look at, like, as you scale your business, creatives are going to die out. Okay, we know that. You can't be reliant on one style, on one strategy, and hope that that's your Hail Mary. Most of the Hail Marys, people, they don't catch it, okay? You have to make sure that you guys are looking at, how do I make my business so valuable to the customer that no one is going to look the other way and they have to buy? That's what I've done at Comfort. They have to buy my product, because there is no other hoodie in the world right now that you guys are thinking about other than Comfort. I programmed it where you cannot go buy something else. That's the same thing that you have to do with your company and your product. There's no one else in your market. No one is in your rear view. I don't care if you're just starting out. It does not matter. This is the game that we're here to play, and I'm here for billions. I want to go crack billions. I want to go take out fucking Nike. Like, that's my goal. So how am I going to go do that? I have to go and I have to study. I have to go and I have to learn what works. I have to expand vertically. I have to expand internationally. I have to learn from people that have done it before me. And that is exactly what everybody here has to do in order to make it work. Sorry, that was a lot, but
that was great. Congratulations on your active wear line. Congratulations on fostering an incredible community internally and externally at Comfort.
Yeah.
That is very hard to do. Going back to externally for a second, how are you finding, on a pretty one-on-one level, these micro-influencers?
Mm-hmm.
And then how are you putting the Hudson spin where they're just like, Comfort, that's it for me. I want it. I want to be that millionaire. How are you doing that?
Micro affiliates are easy. It's manual. AI is great. It's not great for everything. You have to have somebody that understands the brand's values, okay? What does your company stand for? Who's your target demo? Who's buying your product? What are the people that are making the content? How do you want their aesthetic to be? How well spoken are they? How do they not sound like an ad? You have to find those little things about them that they're going to be like, okay, well, I could do this a lot because I'm not changing myself. The people that we've tried to have change the way that they are, those are the people that never win. You have to be yourself. You have to be authentic. And if you can continue to be authentic in your content, then you're going to have a really good shot. That's one. Two, people, they box themselves in. Like, they think that like 2 videos a day is a lot of content, and like they believe that they're doing enough, but they're really just not doing enough. Like, I have, my top creators are making anywhere from 20 to 30 videos a day. I can get, at any given time, I don't know, 20,000 pieces of content a month. Like, I'm just gonna flood the market, because the thing is, they're not celebrities, so they don't care about how many times they post on their page. They're not worried about what their friends think about them. They're not worried about if I post the same video 5 times, because what did I say earlier? Process of duplication. I have a creator, Jordan, who will probably make, it's her birthday today. Shout out to Jordan if you're watching this. Probably not, it's her birthday. You know, she's gonna make probably $2 million this year in commission. That girl has figured out the whole game. She's cracked the code. She has 3 different styles that she does, and she does it over and over and over again. And she does not care who sees it, what guy comments on the post and said, this is your 8th video today saying the same thing. Because remember, it's all posted on TikTok. It doesn't fucking matter. They don't pay the bills. But your creators are going to be a little bit discouraged. It's up to you as the founder and the leader of the company to be the person to say, hey, it doesn't matter, because this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, and if I could snap my fingers and you make $10,000 a month tomorrow, would you care what they say? Everybody says no. So if that's the case, then go do it, because if we're gonna go do $1 billion in revenue this year, how many people are making commission that are gonna make over 100 grand? I'm gonna have hundreds. So for the companies that are a little bit smaller, you need one killer. You need one knockout golden child, like, this is the face of the company. You need one, because that's gonna give hope to everybody else that it's possible. And that's what took me a very long time. So we go through TikTok, we scroll, we find the creators, and we will go and we'll get on calls with them. Every single person that works for Comfort as a creator gets a phone call. They get an onboarding message on Notion of 20-minute video from me. And then we go and we have weekly calls. That's the most important thing that I could say right now. Weekly calls. If you don't do it, they will forget about you.
Who are the weekly calls?
All my creators. So
how many creators are typically on that call?
It ranges maybe 150 to 200 people. We only have around 500 creators that work core, right? So there's 3 layers of how you generate content and make money. There's layer 1, which is the most important, is recruiting and building in-house and training them how to make money. And then they're your lead, right? The next one is product seeding, right? You go and you send it to a bunch of creators. You go and you know, I've mentioned different apps in the past that you guys can go utilize, like Yuka and stuff like that. You can go and you can outreach to creators and product seed. They go and they utilize, you know, the product that you send them, and they go and maybe they make content. They're not going to make content for you every day, because the thing is this: who you're all competing with is, it's like shiny object syndrome. If Comfort goes out of stock, the affiliates, not my core creators, the affiliates, they're going to go somewhere else. They may go to Clean Skin Club. They may go to Glamnetic. They may go to Aroma 360. They're not loyal to me. They're loyal to the money. I don't want to work with people that are loyal to the money. It does not work. It's not sustaining. It's going to fuck you over in the end. Because once you do not become the it brand, they're going to go to the next it brand, and then they're going to forget about you, and then your rev is going to drop. So building core community is number 1. Seeding is number 2. Number 3, which we've done a really good job at, which some people might disagree with me, I give 30% off to my customers, right? So I take 30% off, I bring them in the Discord, and I say, hey, you're a customer already. You love our products already. So all I want to do now is, how can I keep you as a customer, but you love talking about us on social media, because I made it a trend to repost Comfort. If you ever see how many Comfort reposts we do a day, it's like 500. In the beginning, I used to give a discount.
I just want to say, so that's Instagram, right?
Yeah, on Instagram.
So wait, just real quick, because I think this is really interesting. Something Hudson has talked about in the past that not a lot of brands do is that he is constantly reposting on Insta, maybe, I don't know, 500 stories a day or more on Comfort's Insta. So when you hit Comfort's Insta, it's going to be story after story after story. And that is not, everyone thinks you're cannibalizing people's eyeballs with that.
No, doesn't matter. You're building culture. You're building culture. People then buy the product because they know that we're going to repost them. They want to be seen. They want to be heard. You guys know we're a mental health brand. We're very focused on that. We raise hundreds of thousands of dollars and donate them to charities. You know, I'm a big advocate on it. And you know, the Instagram stories are very important, but those customers get put in a Discord. They then will buy with their 30% off, which is the biggest percentage we'll ever give off. And then they'll go tell their friends, and then they'll buy with their code, and then they're going to earn commission on those sales. So now I have around 500,000 affiliates, most of them being customers. Then I have my product seeding to the biggest creators on the platform that want to promote Comfort because we're so big. And then I have my core creators. If I lost the other two layers today, I wouldn't give a fuck. I care about my core community. That is what matters. My customers, I care about it, but if they decided tomorrow, Hudson, I don't want to promote Comfort, I just want to wear it, no problem. My core creators are what is going to drive me to the success level that we're looking to get to. Of course, they're doing construction. So, it's Miami. So, where I am, guys, is like, you know, you all today here should be making friends, okay? Every single person should be having a conversation with somebody else. Jared spent a lot of time getting really nice lanyards with Austin and putting your names and your companies on them. You have to make friends, and I'll tell you why. This road of being an entrepreneur is so fucking lonely. It really is, right? You know, I have my mom here today, so there's a story that I always have. I used to spend all this time in my bedroom. I lived with my mom. I was 25, so whoever is not, you know, if you moved out, you're beating me. So I was 25, I was sitting in my bedroom, and I had figured out how to make money on TikTok. And I had a creator post a video. His name is It's QCP, Jean-Luc. You guys probably know him. He's the chef on TikTok. He posted a video, and I had this idea. This is with my oral care brand, Purely White Deluxe. I said, throw my promotion at the end of your video so everybody can watch the entire thing as if it's not an ad, and then just tag us and just say that there's a link in bio. This was like my Hail Mary because Snapchat was how I got started. Weirdly enough, full circle moment, I was on Zoom yesterday for an hour with Evan Spiegel, and we were talking about, he knows my story of how I got my business started on Snapchat. And I remember being in my bedroom and Gianluca posted, and I made $20,000 that day in sales for Purely White. My website looked like it was built with a banana. Like it was the worst fucking website none of us would check out and wear an ecom. Like it was so bad. And I just remember like day 2, we did 17,000. Day 3, we did 15,000. And I just remember like her asking me, she's like, how are we doing today? And I was at 87,000 for the month. And I came out, she was doing the laundry because she always used to hook me up with the laundry. And I told her what we did, and she just looked at me and she was like, it's happening. And it will make me emotional, so I'm not going to go too deep into it, but like that it's happening. Like all of my fears, everything that I sacrificed, all the fucking people that told me it was never going to be anything, all the people that told me to stay in the carb business, everybody that told me that I was crazy, it all was silenced. There was no noise. And now my company did, we're going to do over $100 million this month. Like nothing changes. I'm not better than anybody. I'm a normal guy that is just practicing the art of duplication, and I'm believing so much in myself that no one can tell me otherwise. This is right now, like this time that we're in, this is going to make your business. So for everyone that is here to learn something today, sorry that I did not look at all over here, but hopefully you heard me. you know, you guys are gonna have to. You guys are really gonna have to go through every aspect of your brand. Hire the right people. Really vet them. Make sure they're a good culture fit. Make sure that you're hiring the roles that you need. Go on YouTube. Go on ChatGPT. Look at an org chart of a company at your size. Go make friends, like I was saying, because the biggest thing that I've been able to do is make friends in this business that have already fucked up so many more times at the thing I'm about to fuck up at, that they tell me, don't do that because you're gonna fuck it all up. That's the best way to win, is to make friends with people and to learn from their mistakes. One of the biggest things I ever did was meet Davey Fogarty. I was at 16 million. I was gonna go to 50. He said, let me see your org chart. I said, what's an org chart? And then he was like, how many employees you had? I said, I have 3, and I got about 10 on Fiverr and Upwork. And he said, your business is gonna go bankrupt this year. You need to hire. And then that next week, I spent $500,000 in salaries to hire my COO and my CFO. Best decision I ever made in my life. So it's all about taking the risk, taking the gamble. You start to make the money, go spend the money. We're gonna do a Q&A with all of us, so we'll have time, and we're gonna do some questions. But I gotta shout out my boy Samir. He's in the back. If everyone can look right in the back, he's waving his hand. Give him a little round of applause. I'll tell you why after. He believed in me and did not charge me any money to run my ads for comfort when we were just starting out. And he showed me, by being the best fucking human in the world, he was like, dude, we're on to something big. And he was so selfless, and he said, I don't have the time to do this, and what the company needs, we need to hand it off. And then now I have Ryan Spada here, who is like the best media buyer on the planet. You guys should bug him with 1,000 questions today. Samir did that for me, and he is an amazing friend. I haven't seen him in a couple years, and he flew out here. I got him out of his comfort zone, and no pun intended, and he flew over here. You guys today have to make those friends that are selfless, that want to see you win, that want their businesses to be successful as well, because this is a small world, and as big as this group seems, it's very small, and we're all accomplishing amazing things. So make friends today. Have the conversation. Really, go and get someone's number. Go do the little iPhone tap thing. Get everybody's number, because you don't know how much they're going to change your life this year or how much you could change theirs. I'm going to stop here.
I completely agree with you, and I would go even a step further and force yourself to have one call a day with either a new potential hire or a new person in the room or anybody. Just one call a day. Force yourself 15 minutes. You'll learn so much from that call, and 99% of people don't do it. I do want to come back before we take questions really fast on international. You scaled really fast. Was there a specific country you went to first? And what was the fundamentals of the operation?
Canada, UK, Australia, Mexico, EU.
So English-speaking countries first.
A little bit of Mexico action. Little bit of Mexico. Oh, not Ireland. So we expanded. We took our best forming creative and we just ran it in these other countries, and it did incredibly well. I do want to, because there's a couple people that I want to quickly shout out to. My boy Austin from North Beam, fucking the man. He's the man. You guys, if you are tracking your data based off of the ad accounts, if your North Star is Meta telling you that you're profitable, oh, you are ruined. So definitely have a conversation with Northbeam, because, and I'm not saying this because he sponsored it, I've talked about Northbeam for years, before I even met Austin. You guys have to have, your analytics and your data have to be solid. I'm spending anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000 a day. If I'm spending that much money on ads, I have to know where every dollar is going. I can't have Google and Meta and Snapchat all saying they got me the same sale. That's their thing. They want to say that they all got you the sale, so it's profitable, so you spend more money. And then you look at the end, and the P&L's shot. You're like, how the fuck did we lose money? You guys have to have a North Star. You have to have the attribution really dialed in. Northbeam is the Ferrari of that. There are other companies out there that are a little bit cheaper, and that's fine if that's where you are. But when we made the change to Northbeam, everything for us became way more efficient. And I want you guys to, don't take my word for it. Like literally go try it out and see. But it's a game changer for us. You guys got to go and get every single piece of data that you can on every single aspect of the brand, because if you don't do that, you're going to lose millions. You're going to lose millions. And my other take here is, whatever department is the most underdeveloped in your business, you have to hire the best in the world to go fix it, okay? Pay the money. Pay the money. I have Alex here. She's running my CXCS. It was shot. Like, we had a really hard time because we ramped up too quickly, and like, she's the one that gets us all caught up and making sure that everything is good and putting plans in place for us to be successful. Lean on your team, believe in your team, make sure that you're hiring the best, vet them properly, have them meet one of your friends, get another face involved. It's all about perspective. Sometimes you're so eager to hire somebody that you're just willing to do it and spend the money, opposed to having somebody really fucking vet them out. So definitely do that as well. We can do questions. Let's do some questions.
Who's got questions?
So 4 years ago, my life completely changed because I found out about the power of social media. At my whole family's lowest point in life, they've been entrepreneurs their entire life. They were immigrants who moved from Albania, and now we're here, and they lost all of their money. So I came up with a business idea, which was basically to take a person's picture, turn it into outlined art, and then embroider it on a hoodie. I made it into a business. First week of being a business, we went viral on TikTok. I've been posting every single day, 7 to 10 times per day for 4 years, and we're almost an 8-figure business with basically no ad spend. So I wanted to ask you, so what you've done is basically have 1 million leads, right? You have like so many people that are exactly like me, but you're fueling it to your brand. How do you get people to do the same exact thing where they're actually committing and posting 7 to 10 times per day to do that for you?
So, great question. By the way, congratulations. That is incredible. Woo! You need to be a leader, and you have to show them the way, and you have to show them that where you're going, right? You don't just become a 9-figure company overnight, right? Like, when we really were playing this game, we were not even an 8-figure brand yet. So you have to show them what it's becoming, right? I always say, I said it earlier, like, don't look at things for what they are, but for what they're becoming. You have to teach the creators that. You have to show them what works. You have to show them what makes money. You're not really spending money on ads. At a point, you will, and you should. But at that point, you're going to have to see what wins. What is the content that is generating revenue for your company profitably, and how can you continue to have those pieces of content being generated? And they have to believe in your product, and they have to believe in you. I can already see it in your face, like, you're a great founder. And if you're a great founder and a great leader, they want to look to you, and they believe in you. You know, this is a new game that we're playing. This hasn't been around for 10 years. This is a new thing. So you need to be the one to educate them, because people don't need time to make a decision. They need information. I'm going to say that again. People do not need time to make a decision. They need information. The customer needs information to make a purchase. The creator needs information to make a decision to work with you. You need to show them where everything is leading, and if you can continue to do that and show them what it's done for you and your business and what it could become from a commission standpoint, they're going to believe in your business. That's exactly what you have to do. Show them the light. You're the only one that can do it. Do not hire out that role. I get on the calls every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. And because I knew I was going to be here, we made it yesterday. I will never miss a call. I had the flu for almost 3 weeks. I was on every single call. Does not matter. I could be on my deathbed. I had emergency appendix surgery. I'm in the bed with the IV and I'm on the call. Won't miss it. Won't miss it. It's the most important piece of my business. If I lose that, I lose everything.
What other questions do we have? Over here.
My boy.
I'm here. So, I come from a Facebook background. As most people would be aware, quantity and diversity of the account now is like the lever that most people are trying to optimize around. It's clear to me that leveraging an affiliate creator model for ad creative, specifically on Meta, is the obvious direction that everything is moving into. So can you describe how specifically you guys are leveraging all of the massive creators that you built up for ad creatives specifically? Is it a different like ideation or feedback loop, or is it a very similar thing what you guys are doing on Shop?
So we run every single piece of content on Meta. So every single thing that goes through TikTok goes to Meta, goes to Snapchat, goes to Pinterest, goes everywhere. We group right by collection. We do a lot of whitelisting. I think whitelisting is very important. Like, you guys should be, once your business is making good money and you know commission's there, get like a little bit of a bigger creator that will usually have a rate and just tell them, I'm never fucking paying your rate, but I'll pay you commission, and it's gonna pay you for one video that you make and pay you a year from now. Again, dangle the carrot. We've done that a lot with bigger creators that have a couple million followers, or you can have a friend like Josh Goldstein that just makes content for you and just doesn't charge you. But you have those people that will make content for your brand. Whitelisting is huge for us, but that's net new. That's not being posted on TikTok, but we will showcase the best performing creatives to all the creators so they can all make a decision on what they want to do. Now, mind you, we have very different product. Like the airplane mode hoodie, you guys have seen the hoodie with the airplane mask, right? It's like the most viral hoodie in the world right now. We cannot keep it in stock. That hoodie has a way different hook, middle of content, call to action than a normal hoodie would. The same way that we're coming out with new product ideas, it's the same exact thing. So like, we will always try to cater like the videos of what has worked to the creators to make for new content, but like, yeah, it's just we upload everything. There's no rhyme or reason, like everything goes into that ad account. Ryan, am I correct in saying that? Yeah, great question.
Before we get to the next question, you mentioned Snap. I know a lot of people are not spending on Snap, or they're spending very little. What are you spending per day on Snap?
We're the biggest spender in the world on Snapchat for clothing. We're the biggest spender in the world on Snapchat. We can spend up to 6 figures a day on Snap. It really just depends on, depends on the season, depends on the stock, it depends on a lot. But look, I look at it like this. TikTok and Snapchat almost have the same amount of users. Guys probably didn't know that. And Evan said that to me the other night. He was like, bro, we almost have the same amount of users as TikTok. Like, it's crazy to me that people are sleeping on our platform. And I'm like, fuck, that's so crazy. Because their attribution is not great, which is why you get Northbeam. Their attribution is horrible. They will give you a 28-day, you'll have a 45 ROAS, you'll think you're rich, you'll think you hit the lotto, and you're not making money. So you have to change the window, and you have to go and you have to have everything flow through to a third-party tool that's going to be able to tell you exactly how much money you're actually making. Snapchat's a great way to make money. The customers are there. You can gamify the content. You can go and look at what's working, and you can go and try and test new different styles of creative for that, right? I like FOMO. It's a really good way to make money. Like, you have to go and like give people, like, we're always sold out. The fear of missing out is going to be one of the key leaders of why you actually make money. Because if you can we were the viral hoodie brand before anybody knew who we were. We were the hoodie brand that always sold out. No, I just didn't have enough money to order inventory. So I just said we're always sold out. I started with 50 grand with the proceeds from my first company. In my first company, I started with $1,000 in my mom's basement, getting the counters dirty, putting charcoal powder in a freaking jar. So we've been, the money problem for Comfort is like, it's like forever. Like, we're always in a position where we just don't have enough money to order the inventory to keep up with the demand, but that actually works in our benefit because we've allowed it to be like, well, they're always sold out. So let's pre-order. Pre-order, if you guys know, like 30 to 40% of my rev at a point was pre-order. People would wait 2 months, I'd act as the bank, I'd take money up front, I'd defer the sale 2 months, and I would be able to make money. If not, Comfort would have went fucking broke last year. We went from, well, not last year, the year before that. We went from 16 million to 170 million in 1 year. I had no money. I had no funding. I own 100% of the business. I'm bootstrapped. How do we do that? We got creative, and we came out with a pre-order option where everybody could wait and buy the product, get it cheaper, and wait 2 months. And I've seen that happen with some of the other businesses that I work with, and that's a great thing for you guys too. If you have a viral product and you can't stay in stock, don't lose the money, just put it on pre-order and allow people to wait and get a little bit of a better deal. That's another huge lever. I haven't turned it off. I don't think we're ever, probably never going to turn it off. It's a great cash flowing machine.
I think we have time for one more question, then we're going to bring everyone together. Yes, all right. We'll take 2 more questions. Here we go.
Super impressive. Thank you for putting this on. I'm curious about your pricing strategy. You know, Meta now lets you sort ads by impressions in the ads library, and what it seems like is your number one ad is 70% off. You say you don't discount, but you kind of do, and I'm just curious.
Oh no, we do discount.
Okay, yeah, I'm just curious about that whole strategy, because it seems like you have an always-on 70% off sale, but it's, I'm just would love to hear.
Yeah, no, of course. So we do dynamic price testing. So there may be one product that's 70% off, but that doesn't mean that all the products are 70% off. So the way that it works is like this. Based off of the availability of the stock, the price will change. So if we have very low stock, the price is going to go up. If we have a lot of stock and a new product that comes out that we over-ordered on, the price is going to go low. So we continue to play in the market, but this is the key, right? Because I've heard this before. People are like, well, you're always on sale. Okay, great. And that's not like how you mend it, but I'm just saying like that is a notion that people will have. My customers know that my sale price is showing products in the market that are similar of what they are priced at. Talentless is $130. Fear of God is $100 and sometimes $40. I can sell you a hoodie for $40. All the other hoodies that have similar makeup, right? The actual the ingredients of the product, what actually goes into the product, we're discounting it to a point that we are not charging you 130% margins on a product, because I want to be transparent with my customers, and at the same time I also want to be in a position where I can be affordable to the masses. I don't want to be the expensive brand. I want to have the mother of 3 that lives in middle America that can't afford a Fear of God or a Talentless hoodie to come and buy my product, because you can get a full set for less than what the cost of one hoodie is. So that's the way that we've run it, and we think that being very transparent with pricing, also my creators, like they're not saying we're on sale, they're more so saying like this is the best deal you're ever going to get. And I think that ideology around marketing is very strong. I don't agree with some of the laws in the United States. I think that they should be different. But you know, that's how we've been able to do that at a high level. Dynamic pricing is key.
I'm impressed with the margin to be able to do that.
You have to have really fucking good creative where you're so profitable that it doesn't matter. Well, the contribution margin is going to be better, because if you lower the price, people are going to buy at a better rate, and then you're going to be able to make more money. And then if you have a really good company, they're going to come back 45% of the time, like we have, and then they're going to buy again and again and again. Clean Skin Club is very smart, because they are not profitable until, then I don't know how many orders, but like they're a subscription brand. So like if you're a subscription product and you're going to say, I'm not going to be profitable for the first 3-4 months, but it's a monthly subscription, but you know that you have a very low churn and 90% of people are subscribing, you're going to print money at a point. You know, so it all is depending upon the product too. Great question.
Hi, Lori Champagne. So our family office, we have a lot of different D2C retail brands, and what are you doing with the changes that TikTok is doing from a shipping perspective? Because they're starting to eat into margins. And so I'm looking at, I just built a website for Blake Mikowski, the founder of Tom Shoes. So I'm looking at options of logistics. So what are you doing there from a shipping perspective?
Shipping. So their email, sorry for whoever at TikTok is watching, their email was flawed. They know it was flawed. They admitted it was flawed. Let me phrase this correctly. They're not making it mandatory in the next month to go FBT. They're making it where they can come and pick up from your 3PL. They will match your rates. If not, sometimes they will beat your rates. They're going to make it very enticing. They want to do what Amazon did. I mean, point blank, every smart person in the room here knows this. They want to compete with Amazon. And what's the best way to do that? Make everybody go fucking FBT. They're lenient, right? They're not going to shut off brands. That would be counterproductive. But you have to go and have a conversation with your rep and say, hey, either you're ready or you're not. Some people are already FBT, but you want to put it where they can come and pick up from your 3PL. They can get you better rates. They can own it, which, by the way, like, that's not the worst case scenario in the world. Let them take all the liability. Let them not penalize you if something gets lost in transit. It's their fucking transit. So, you know, that's probably the best way to go about it. But yeah, it's a pain in the ass. They just did the deal. They want to make sure that they can own as much as they physically can. But we, as business owners, have to navigate these waters correctly by having the right conversations. If I cannot be FBT in the next 6 months, what can you provide me to help me, right? Lean on them, have them help you. They know that it's a big move, especially in apparel, especially in, like, you know, some people here own like athleisure brands, like that's a lot. You know, like sometimes it takes 6 months 4 or 5 months to make product. You know, the timelines are flawed, but they want to start doing that. They want to have 80% of brands FBT by the end of 2026. That's their goal. Great question.
All right, thank you so much, Hudson. What we're going to do now, we're going to get all the speakers back on stage. We're going to do a little AMA. Food will be served.
Oh, food. Oh,
food will be served in about 15.
Yeah,
You want to
we'll
take a break?
Yeah,
All right,
let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll take a break. Everyone enjoy. We'll take a break. Get some drinks.
All right, everybody. Thank you for coming and joining us again. I know you're in the back. You're getting incredible food, but we are here once again with our amazing 4 speakers. And this is going to be an AMA. This is going to be an Ask Me Anything for each one of the 4. Before we begin with the AMA, I do want to point out, I would love for each one of the speakers to pick apart one of the other businesses on the stage and give one piece of advice that they would give to their friends up here. So we're going to start with Wayne, and Wayne, pick on one person and what advice you would give to them.
Quiet down, guys, or we're not going to say shit.
If you go easy, I'll go easy.
Okay, listen. It's difficult because it's difficult because thank you, good sir. It's difficult. Truly, when you're an entrepreneur, it means that you're running at 100 miles an hour at every moment in time. And if you focus too much on making everything perfect, you're wasting time, you're wasting market share, you're letting everybody else catch up, right? So the reality is, if you can't find something wrong with what one of us has built on this stage, we fucked up. We didn't go hard enough, we didn't push hard enough, and we left too much market share there. The one piece that I would throw at it is, I have a huge appreciation for one of our vendors, OneText. The founder is actually in the building right now, Jonathan. I moved away from Attentive to OneText, and there's 1,000 different reasons why. The one thing that I would say is that companies should look at maybe switching that up a little. But that's it. But it also goes for everybody else on the stage too.
That was a great show.
Great. Okay, let's pass it to Kevin.
You know what's funny? I gave Hudson some advice a couple years ago, and I am so glad he did not take it, because I think, you know, advice, when you get advice from people, or even from this panel, right, there's probably bits and pieces that you'll take away from our experiences that are relevant to you, but there's probably 90% of what I say, or Wayne, or Ben, or Hudson says that isn't relevant. And I think the experience that I lived at the time when I met Hudson was I went up like this, and I went down like this. So I was like, Hudson, you might want to like chill out a little bit on how quickly you're growing, because you want to create sustainable growth. And that was actually the wrong advice, because obviously Hudson blew through it, and clearly had a different playbook than I had. So I think, you know, it's really about accumulating advice from lots of different people, but you have to figure out what makes the most sense for you, because clearly what I told Hudson, he did not listen to, and he should not have listened to. But yeah, so I think it was that. That's it.
Yeah, I have an advice for Hudson. So,
Kevin, this is a therapy session. Is what this is.
Do this. Why
This wasn't supposed to be about you. They could have picked anybody that they picked you.
I have a very serious one. I think I told this to you before, but Kevin and I, if we would be in the ads using our product, it's gonna look a little funny. Like, imagine this guy showing off his new Hello Kitty press on nails. It may go viral, but I don't know how much it's random. Me with skincare, probably not. But this face, I've seen him in a warehouse in some paid ads. I got retargeted a few times with him, with a little thing, with the helmet on. I think you should dive more into it. I think you are the face of the brand, but I would love to see who likes to see more of this face in the comfort ads. Maybe being a TikTok shop affiliate. How about that? I heard it's a great way to make a lot of money.
Actually, I'd make a lot of money in commission if we paid me the commission. Bar. I look at the commission structure. I don't have anything for you guys. Wayne, you need to spend less money on rent. Hey, it's true. He owns half Wynwood. That's fair. Okay. I have nothing for Kev. He's too good. Taught me a lot. Early days. Didn't really have to talk to me. Probably shouldn't have talked to me. Helped me. Yeah, just gave me a lot of advice. Was very selfless. Well, listen, we could all make fun of each other, bullshit, and Ben, I don't even know what I would say to Ben, so I'm not even gonna say anything. Ben, it's gonna bite me in the ass if I say something. But yeah, listen, guys, this everyone's enjoying the food. I heard the truffle pizza, incredible. I can see my boy just chowing away right now. Guys, we want to do some questions. We want you guys to ask what do you need help with? Use this as the opportunity right now to ask the things that you really want to ask that you think could change your brand, or even the question that maybe you think is a little bit stupid. It probably isn't stupid, and I'll probably give you a really good response that I talked for 20 minutes on one answer. So just ask the questions. This is what we're here for. I don't know how many times a year we're going to be able to do these things, so I want you guys to get the most out of it.
Show of hands. We have over here.
How you doing, guys? Thank you. So, similar to Ben, I'm from New York. I own a fitness studio, a service-based company, and I'm just getting into e-com over the last year, essentially. And I mean, one thing that is common among you four is you guys have an unbelievable product. And Ben, you spend time innovating and continue innovating. So I kind of have this dichotomy of, is it better to get started even if the product's not the best and just keep innovating, reinvest, or spend more time on the product and the quality and then pursue? You know what I mean? Because that's kind of where it's new for me. The team building, all that stuff, I have that from my experience, but it's more of that spectrum of spend more time on the product, then launch, or no, just fucking figure it out, like GSD, FIO. So that's my question.
What was your name, buddy?
Nick.
Nick. All right, so this is a phenomenal question, because this is something that's not just for me. This is everybody here and most people here in the audience. It'll never be perfect. It absolutely never. When to launch, when you feel comfortable with it, is a big spectrum, and that's not something that you're going to experience just in the beginning. That's going to be a reoccurring thing for you, and you need to establish for yourself a certain standard that you're not going to go under. But if you put it too high, you will never progress. You'll never launch. If you put it too low, you're just going to launch junk. So the most important thing, I think, is not when you decide to launch, it's what you do right after. So if you decide to launch and you like the product, like let's say it's a 7 out of 10 for you, right? And you say, I feel comfortable in launching it. That's not, nobody's gonna come and say that's a mistake or that's a good thing to do. What's gonna determine it is when you launch it, how much do you listen? So once you launch it, I was talking to someone here about it, that they're gonna launch the product and they don't know how do I do the first iteration. When you're small and you're launching a certain amount of inventory, if you're launching 5,000 units, 10,000 units, you really want to use that time to not talk to your customers, hey, leave me an email through SurveyMonkey and say how much you like the product 1 to 10. Hell no. Legally, you can't text them if they don't opt in, but you can call them and you can text them personally, right? I have a friend, so I'm not going to mention, that has a ton of phone numbers, but they're not opt-in to texts. So he just has a VA, just text them one by one to schedule one-on-one calls with the founder, because that amount of conversation with a customer that you have in the beginning, you're never going to get when you're at scale. So it doesn't matter when you decide, at what point, how perfect the product is. It really matters what you do in the first months after launching the product, because the difference between the first iteration to the second iteration, that's when it's going to be the most meaningful. So the rate of progress for yourself, second iteration is not going to be a perfect one either. So you want to shorten the time and increase the quality of going from iteration to iteration, and that's going to be more meaningful than when to launch.
Great answer. Great answer. What other questions do we have? Isla. Okay.
Hi guys. I don't know if this is a specific question for one person or anyone that wants to take it. Have you set up, or how have you found success in this is a very specific question, in a social media manager role for someone who leads social media? Oftentimes I find that every time I hire someone in this role, you know, there's KPIs, there's success that we want to see, we want numbers to be hit, virality to be hit, but oftentimes we're very disappointed with the outcome, even though the team member might be very passionate, creative, incredible, whether behind camera or in front of camera, but there's always an excuse. Hey, 437, you know, you guys keep asking us to be really aesthetic and on brand, or we need more time, or we need this shredder, or we need all of these different roles. We keep hearing it time and time after again, and I just wanted to hear if you guys have any strategies more so on like the HR side or the empowerment side or KPI side.
Okay. Well, there was a lot there. So, I hate HR. We'll never have HR. There's this, like, to hit the KPIs on the social media side, I like to look at what everyone else has done. Copycat is not a bad word, right? And people want to make pretend that it is. It's just not. So what I would say is look at you're in athletic wear, like go look at the vitality, all those big brands that are hitting these, these incredible strides on social. What's making sense? Is your team hip to follow trends as they're happening? Are they doing things that can align with the brand but be fun, right? I'm not the best person in the world to answer the question of like, how do you go viral on social media organically from your business? I honestly hate doing that. I run really good ads, podcast ads, street interview ads, engaging ads, and then I run them on my page, and then I put ad spend behind them and I run them to the moon, and then I gain my followers that way. Comfort's probably going to hit 1 million followers on Instagram in the next week. All of that is from ad spend. Like, all of it. It's not virality. I mean, now we're getting to a point, and I want to, like, shout out to my team, like my creative director and all the team that works at Comfort. Like, we just launched Comfort Core yesterday. It was if I don't know if you guys saw the video, it was very heartfelt. Like, the video that we posted made you feel an emotion. Will that go viral? Probably not. But the people that align with the business are going to love it. And you've built, because I know your company, you've built an incredible business that people are really engaged. I think that you just need to hear more from what the customer is saying. Hey, we want to see this. We like this. What could we do better? Internally, the team is always going to have conflict. Like, they're going to say, hey, you could do this better, you could do this better. They don't fucking know anything. The customer knows everything. So, like, the customer is going to be the one to tell you, I would like to see from you doing more of this, and then you're going to listen to the customer and then tell your team this is what we need to be doing. The voice of the customer is the key, because they're the only ones that make the business go round. You're going to be listening to them. I work for the customer. I work for my team, right? But I'm the one that's gathering the information. So if that answers some of your questions, but that was a great question.
What other questions do we have? We have one in the back.
Wait, Jared, can I say one
yeah, sure,
thing?
go ahead. And shout out to Danielle for that. But yeah.
I think one interesting opportunity right now, because I know you're trying to find that person, right? And it's really hard to find that person who's proactive, thinks ahead, is ahead of the game on social, and they're living on, TikTok and X and figuring all these things out. I think there's a interesting arbitrage opportunity right now where there's a lot of content creators that want to build a business that don't know how. And I think you're a really inspiring founder, and I think that you bringing on a content creator under your wing who wants to learn the business side, and in exchange they be your go-to and that proactive founder type person with the same drive that Hudson had in the beginning, right? But you're teaching them how to run the rest of the business could be a really, really big unlock, because this is an in-the-weeds role that requires someone incredibly forward-thinking and proactive, and I just think there could be a really big opportunity there for that.
So a common thread across a lot of what you guys have been saying is when you acquire a customer, we want that person to come back and never leave, right? And so I would ask, what is the kind of 80-20 in your guys' heads in terms of how do you maximize lifetime value across like a Hudson, your brand, where you're relying more on different SKUs that person may be coming back for and buying versus some where it may be a subscription type of offer. What would be your 80-20 and how would it be split across kind of the product characteristics in itself and how you're developing the product versus tactical retention type of activities that you guys are doing via email, et cetera?
Listen, in the case of our brands, we're heavy on subscription, right? So if you're a brand that has no subscription tied to it, you're going to have a different angle on bringing customers back than if you have a dual purpose. We have customers that come back that are not on subscription, that will never go on subscription, but will try different pieces of our product offerings throughout the course of months, years, quarters, whatever the case may be. Then we have customers that are subscription customers. So one, it's a two-faced question, because you have two different strategies for both of them. There's a way to have a subscription customer so intently in love with your brand that they feel like every month when they get their package, it was created, designed, made for them for the reason that they're attached to your brand, right? And if you can accomplish that, you'll have lower churn, which allows you to have a better product at a better price to turn over to your customer. If you have high churn, you can't spend a lot on your product because you need the money for marketing in order to get people to buy it. But if you lower your churn, then you create a better product experience for your customer. It's what we all want to do anyways, right? But it doesn't mean that you can if the metrics don't allow you to do it. So you have to always be within your box. And on the non-subscription side, every single brand is going to have their hero product. And you can try like hell to develop 10 hero products. There's very few brands that are ever going to get there. You're going to have one thing that most people know you for. Most people know that Hotel Collection does a diffuser and oil. Very few of you in this room right now know that I do luggage. Very few of you know that I have a wine collection, that I have wine accessories, that I do bed sheets, that I do pajamas, like the laundry pods. These aren't core product offerings, but it's my job as somebody building these brands that have been adopted and that are brands that people know and love, for them to over time learn what else I offer them. And that comes from storytelling, that comes from being intentful, and that comes from always delivering a product that makes them want to see what else you can provide to them.
That was great. I learned a lot from this right now. Stuff that I want to implement. I look at retention for customers. I am not an incredible marketer. I'm really good at product. And the way I see it is that right now we're in 2026. Our goal, and I'm strictly from an R&D perspective, make the product look, the next product we're gonna launch, looks like it's 2036 right now for the customer. And that'll make your competitors or the alternative looks like it's from 2060. I think that's the best way. So if they change back, if they look elsewhere, it's just gonna feel like shit for them.
And I want to add on that. At Comfort, expanding horizontally is very important, right? So as we find our hero products, we listen to the voice of the customer and we allow them to tell us what they want to see next. That will also increase retention. We're not, like, as successful founders, even a lot of businesses, you ever see a business come out with a product and you're like, why the fuck did you come out with this product? And it never does well. It's because internally they had a conversation with their team, but no one actually cared what the customer thought. So then the customers didn't align with the brand, and then they didn't align with the vision of the company entirely. That happens all the time. So like for us to like keep retention high, we look at what are the top selling colors? What can we add to our products to differentiate them and make them different from everything else in the market? How can we add net new products that people are asking for or hoping for? And then also like the affordability and the price point around it is also crucial. If you're known as something as a company, you need to keep that integrity throughout every single product that you launch. And that's something that we've tried to do really well. Like if we launch, I'm going to keep referencing Comfort Core. It's so inexpensive. It's $29 for a top. When was the last time you paid anything for any piece of clothing and it was 29 bucks, unless it was Shein or Temu? Just doesn't exist. So if you're getting the quality and then you have what they're asking for, then they're going to come back and they're going to buy from you because they're going to know as a company you actually care. So I think that's also really important.
Yeah, I guess I'll stack on to everything that they said. I think, what Hudson talked a lot about earlier that's extremely important is building the community. But once you build the community, what that does is that gives you permission to play in other categories that your consumer is working for. And so for us, nail is really interesting because it's kind of like fashion in a way. There's this unique newness element that drives the category, but there's also this staple nails. And so when we started seeing that nail was a high consumable category, the first logical step to increasing retention was building on the incrementality in just the nail category of the things that we didn't have. 3D finishes, shorter nails, longer nails, extra short. We wanted to hit all of the horizontal, incremental ways in nail first. And then now we're kind of building that world of nail care, the DIY, and owning the kind of end-to-end DIY consumer. The best brand in the world that I think has done an incredible job at incrementality that you guys should take a look at is Kitsch. Kitsch started as a hair accessory business. They became the biggest hair accessory business. And Cassandra and Jeremy, the founders, did an amazing job of evaluating permission to play in other categories, analyzing what the TAM is, analyzing does that TAM match up to their current customer base, and then building on those, and every category they built from there did tens of millions of dollars in incremental revenue. But it all starts with building the community and having a great product, and then you build from there.
This one is, I'd like to just kind of go back a little bit more about the community building, especially in the early days of TikTok Shop. So, for example, I'm about to do a photo shoot for my product with a group of moms, and it's like a yoga brand, it's going to be all branded, right? I'd like to have a conversation with them and bringing them on as core creators, as some of the first ones to be creating on a regular for us. What are some of the flows, what are some of the more granular sort of conversations that as a founder to have with them, to sell them on that vision, to get those first creators to come and believe in what you're doing?
Yeah, great question. In the beginning, you're going to have a lot of skepticism, which is why when I started to build Comfort out, I would have the creators that were successful be the ones to take the phone calls to, as once a skeptic, speak to the current skeptic. This way you take out all the friction. I'm going to be the biased person in the room. I'm going to tell you how great my brand is. Kind of irrelevant, right? Like, my opinion really doesn't matter. For you, in the beginning, you're going to have a lot of people that come and go. It's just the nature of the game. If they're not making enough money, if they don't believe in the vision enough, if they don't see that the money is being earned, if you don't have a success story, which is why I said earlier, as soon as you have someone start making money, you reference them every single moment you can, because they have now made it possible for everybody else to be able to do the same thing, right? You can have the process of duplication. So in the beginning, the conversations for me are like, I used to, for real, dude, like, I used to fucking pace back and forth in my apartment, and I would be from morning till night, I would be on calls, and I would be explaining to people how great I thought my brand was, and how I felt like this was gonna be a winner for them. At a point in time, your conviction and your excitement for your business is what is going to drive the business, so you have to get instilled in them that they actually are gonna see the vision with you. And it takes a little bit, it just does. In the beginning, it's going to take a little bit of time. It's not the easiest thing in the world to accomplish. But I do want, the conversations have to be, hey, we're not where we want to be yet. We're in the beginning. But this is where we're going. And if you can give me the first 30 days for any creator are the hardest. They are getting their feet wet. They don't really know what videos are going to win. They haven't made enough content. They don't have enough content in the market. Just for them to break into the way we run ads at Comfort, like they need to make a ton of videos to break in. And once they finally break in, they're going to be there for a long time. So for you, like that conversation has to be had early on. Give me 90 days. This is also really important. If you did not listen to anything I say, please listen to this. There is an either-or conversation to be had. Meaning, give me 30 pieces of content, or I will give you $2,000 for the month, whatever is greater, either the commission or the flat fee. Because if you guarantee them money, and they have never worked with a big brand, and they're not celebrities, an extra $2,000 could pay their rent, it could pay their car, it could help with groceries, whatever it is, and that may mean a lot to them. So give them the small guarantee, pay it out of your pocket, and just trust in the vision that at a point the commission is going to exceed the flat rate. People are nervous, they don't want to believe in themselves. It's your job to make them believe in themselves. And like, that's just the truth. People don't fucking believe enough. People are sheep, they want to be led. We live in America, okay? Like, you see the shit that goes on? Like, we're winning. You can be just a little bit better and fucking win in America, because everyone's kind of brain dead. So, you have to have that conversation. And if you continue to have that over and over again, it's going to do very well.
Jared, I was going to say one thing. I'll be quick.
That was great. Yeah.
I think what Hudson just said that kind of just spurred this thought on my mind that's really important. This doesn't just go for a creator. This goes for everything you're doing as a founder, is getting people to buy into your vision. When we had this pivot from lash to nail a couple years ago, and when our revenue dropped 25% in the year, our team was like, what the fuck are we doing? Where are we going, right? And just like you have to build that skill set to get your creators to buy in, you have to get your team to buy in on where you're going. And you have to get your retailer to buy in, right? Like, why are you getting this retailer to take a shot on you, right? Obviously, you have to go back to doing all the things we talked about listening to what they want. But in the end, as a founder, one of your number one key things is getting people to be clear and getting people to buy into your vision. And don't waver from it, because people will see when you waver and they'll sense that you're wavering. And so that just kind of ties together for everything you're doing, not just creators.
Over here.
So my name is Zen from Zenith Agency. We have a TikTok Shop agency. My question is specifically about TikTok Shop. I know a lot of the guys on stage are on it. Hudson, obviously, you're crushing with it. The guy next to you is starting to pick up on TikTok Shop. I think he's at like 500K on TikTok Shop. So you guys clearly really understand the platform. What kind of changes are you guys predicting for 2026? How are you shifting your strategy? How are you thinking about it? What do you see as like the landscape, whether it be like live streaming, affiliates? You're talking about kind of like commissions versus retainers. What are you guys changing for 2026? Or are you keeping the same strategy?
So you're going specific on TikTok, right? I'm going to expand it a little bit. The way we've always built the brands is we just go where the customers are, right? And 5 years ago, we were getting a lot of our customers from Meta and Google and everywhere else. Then we started focusing on TikTok. We started getting into Snapchat. Started getting into Pinterest. As much inventory as Bing could give me, right? So my point is, as founders, we're going to go where our customers are going to find us. If more customers are going to find us in one area than the other, we're going to focus more on that. Personally, our brands are focusing heavy on live shopping. We've adopted it as a core philosophy for 2026. Everybody in here here's Gary B talking about it for 2 years now. It is the future. It is not going to change. It will not go away. Nobody in this room, no matter how novice or expert you are in live shopping, has any fucking idea where it's going to be in 3 years from now. We're all learning together. Some of us are learning faster than others. I've dedicated focus on this particular channel because I believe it's the future of client acquisition. But that goes to say that we tell our platforms all the time. I'm speaking for the other three right now. I'm going to pass it off afterward. I tell every platform we want, you can have as much of our money as we can give you for the numbers to work. And if Meta's better, they're going to get more of the money. And if TikTok's better, they're going to get more. And on top of that, I would give 99.9% of every dollar I spend in ads to creators if I could. I would much rather pay humans to push my brand and explain what it could mean for somebody else to try it out than give it to any platform in the world. That's the ultimate goal.
Let you go last. I think on our end, specifically to TikTok. So we were late to the game on TikTok, and honestly, what pushed me 18 months ago to like really take it seriously was sitting down with Hudson, and I think that Hudson's special skill set is he is the best consumer psychologist marketer in the game right now, from the brand side. What we're seeing and what I'm spending a lot of focus and attention on, I think we're up to like 300,000 orders on TikTok Shop. It's not bad. We're number one in the press on nail category, but I still think we are at like a 3 out of 10 on where we can be. And the time that we're spending, with the time I'm spending right now, is on building the infrastructure to scale it. It's such a time-intensive platform that we're seeing live streaming work, both on Seller Live and on Affiliate Live. But now I've got to build that team and infrastructure to compound there. On the affiliate side, we're like a 3 out of 10. We're doing okay, but we haven't been able to build yet like what I think what some of these guys have. And so I'd say like I'm all in on TikTok and doubling down there, and I've seen the halo that comes to retail. And so at least for the next 18 months, it's going to be a core focus that we are like tripling down on Shop.
I'll touch on something small just because you touched on retail. We do a lot of exclusive products for specific retailers, and TikTok Shop was always a no-go. If you're doing a product with Target, it's a Target exclusive, it doesn't go anywhere. And now, you have to put it on TikTok Shop, and they even understand it. Which means, if you're omni-channel, if you're selling in more than one place, so even if it's D2C and Amazon, D2C and retail, retail and Amazon, whatever it is, TikTok Shop is not the best way to succeed in retail and omnichannel. Currently, it is the only way to succeed in multiple retailers and on Amazon and on your website. It has the biggest halo effect. Whether you can measure it or not, for our team, it's a binary thing. You either are a TikTok viral product or you're not. For skincare, Korean beauty right now, the reason why everybody's talking about it is not because it's a new thing. Korean beauty has been around for hundreds of years. The exact same products, the colorful packaging, glass skin, exactly the same. TikTok made it what it is. Next year, you're gonna go into a Target, an Ulta, or a Sephora, and all you're gonna see is Korean beauty everywhere. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but as long as it's viral on TikTok, it's gonna be viral everywhere else. So for us, TikTok is not just a profit mechanism. It's not even a sales channel for us. We don't look at it as a sales channel. Even if we have months, and we have a lot of months that we net lose on TikTok, a lot. We take that net loss, we look at all the views, we calculate the CPM, and guess what? Just like he told me for a long, long time, it's still way cheaper than paying influencers. Way, way, way more authentic.
Very true. Yeah, all great points. I think, if you listen to everybody talking about it, the notion of TikTok is like, well, first of all, it's not going anywhere. Second of all, I spend way more money. I think 12% of my revenue is TikTok, right? Which is not a lot in the grand scheme of things. But I've never had any customer ever tell me that they bought on Meta. Every single person's like, oh, I saw it on TikTok, I saw it on TikTok, I saw it on TikTok. How are you saying that with 12% of my freaking revenues from TikTok? It's because if you can crack the virality code, you need TikTok, okay? Like, you just need it because it's the origin of how everything starts. Like, it is the origin of content creation. It is the origin of virality. It is the origin of every single thing that you need as a business to be successful. If you do not go on TikTok Shop, you will die. People will forget about you. It is just the way that it goes. It's the name of the game. Also, look at China. They're 5 years ahead of us, right? There's billions of dollars being generated in live stream. So more than, it takes all of our companies in a year to do of what some of these Chinese guy on for 14 hours on a live stream is going to do. We are going to follow suit. Again, we are slower movers. America is a slower mover. China is ahead. They've had this longer than we have. So live streaming is the future. I've been in the back rooms at TikTok with the big wigs. I know what they want. They want live streaming. That's what they want. They want America to adopt the same thing that they're doing in China. And they know that it is going to be accepted at a point as soon as they get their claws in, and now that the ideation around it being banned is gone, now they're going to play the game more. I have people going live 20 hours a day. So we have time slots on our page, and I actually am not taking the credit for this. My buddy, his name is Alan Carr, he's the owner of Based. They go live 24 hours a day, and he was like, dude, I go live every day. I got these kids that sit in the warehouse and they go live and it crushes for us. All we do is pay the commission and that's it. Live stream, like going live from your brand page and then also incentivizing new creators to go live from their page will help you take over the market. I think that's a huge deal. But the incremental growth, measuring, like with Northbeam, you can measure, like, you know, you can start to now measure like what is the actual revenue being generated on the other channels. So there's a couple companies that do it, you know, you guys can go and look into them, but I think it's very important to note, like, you need to be able to measure how you're making money. TikTok Shop should not be a black box. It's been a black box for a very long time, but once you start to really understand it, like, yes, we'll drive money in store. My product in oral care became the #1 product on Target.com, beating Crest whitening strips, because I just ran ads on TikTok to go to Target. Like, it is just a way to generate revenue everywhere in your business, and I just don't think it's going anywhere. I think people got to get in it now, and if you're like starting now and you think that you're late, you're fucking not. You're so early. And all the early brands, I don't know the founders, but like the My Smiles and the Guru Nandas and like where are they? You know what I'm saying? Like, all those brands die out. They were first. And then the brands that actually are holding the value in the content are going to continue to win. So like, everybody here, just look at what's working, continue to duplicate it out on your side, look at completely opposite businesses, and just go and take what they're doing and implement it into your strategy. It's all there for you. But yeah, TikTok Shop is not going anywhere. I think it's gonna take over the world, and I'm very bullish on it.
I agree with you 100%, 1000%. I think that if you succeed on TikTok Shop, you succeed everywhere. I know it's expensive, and the success rate is not high. And I'm just curious, I know you're doing international right now. With the international TikTok channels, I feel like I have not seen other marketplaces have as strong international counterparts as TikTok Shop actually does. So like, would you suggest somebody maybe trying, you know, in the UK or Mexico City or somewhere else, because it might be a lesser bag to lose on your first shot?
We just had a call yesterday with the guy who leads, John, who leads TikTok UK. They're 50% less. Like, their top brands are doing 50% of the revenue that the top brands in the US are doing. But it's an easier market to break into. And the creators are very hip to the brands that are winning in America. So I think what I've heard, I don't know for sure, I said this on Instagram and everyone was like, how do you know this? TikTok Canada is going to be a thing. Could it be this year? I don't know. TikTok Australia should be a thing very soon. They've been talking about this for the last 2 years. If I'm a business owner, as soon as I know that they're going live in those markets, my business is going to be there, my freaking flag in the ground. Because that will be a first to market, but as Americans, we already know what has been working here. In Australia, they've never done it. So we're going to be first to market in some of these other places that are launching later this year into next year. And I think that's a tremendous amount of value for a business to go do. I think if you're launching TikTok shops, you launch US.
Drop the money ever.
Dude, but you're not dropping money, because you can play this game of let me drop money in product cost and give away free product. It depends how much your cost is. Okay, so if you go and drop money on that, and you have a couple viral videos that go, you're gonna have hundreds of people that are just coming up as an affiliate that are gonna wanna get your products. Whether they're gonna buy it, whether they're gonna do refundable samples, which is something you could do. You could say you have to get 3 sales in order to get your money back. We do that with Comfort now. Like, Because again, it costs me a pretty good amount of money to make clothing, so I have to go and send it to everybody. It can be costly. But the cost of doing business to play the game, like the opportunity cost of not having it outweighs not doing it at all. Like you gotta do it. The money that you will be losing by not doing TikTok Shop it will make or break your business.
I also think founder-creator arbitrage is real. The best person I think I've seen here do it well is Brock in the back over there with Frost Buddy. That guy cranks out, he was cranking out at one point, I'm sure the affiliates are doing a lot more now, 20, 25 videos a day of his product, and that was free. It was just his time, and there was an arbitrage there. And so there are ways that you can do it in a more cost-effective route, but if you're not leveraging those, it is going to cost you a lot of money. And then to your question on the UK, we're in the middle of launching TikTok Shop UK right now, partly because we launched in Boots over the UK, the retailer, and what's the best way to drive top of funnel to our retail partners, own the share of voice on TikTok. It has not been without its complications. We got like VPNs to get on there. It's like a whole thing. But for us, that is, we're only focusing on the UK right now. I wish I was as ambitious as Hudson and went to all these other markets at once. But we're honing in on TikTok Shop UK, and that will be like our #1 marketing vehicle to then drive retail expansion as we kind of go throughout the UK and retail.
Just one last thing. When we look at TikTok America, especially for you, if you're just, I assume you're starting out. So for the room, everybody who's starting out, TikTok Shop US is the NBA, and Europe is Europe. TikTok Shop UK is the European Basketball League. You want to go and fight Kevin Durant and go and hustle it, even if you're going to get destroyed, you're going to lose a lot of money, because that tuition, when players go to Europe, that's where they bank money. So even if your end play is, I'm going to win in the less competitive market, you have to go and fight with the big bulls in order to be strong enough to beat all the European league. Which I love, I'm European. But for basketball, you know,
it's a good way to frame us dropping money as tuition, right? And it really is, right? It's tuition. You've got to pay to play and learn, and it's tuition.
We got one more.
Have the mic.
Hey you.
Hello.
What's going on?
Hi, I'm Shira. I started a company called Nightcap. We sell products that prevent your drink from being spiked to the bar. My question is about kind of right what you were saying before, but the new feature on Instagram. It's translating videos. And how are you thinking about this when it comes to your international expansion? Because potentially you could take all of your creators that you already have now and just use those same videos to grow in Mexico or other countries. So how are you guys thinking about that?
I'm not a huge fan. I think it's inauthentic. I think you need to go and do the work. I think you have to go to the countries and hire somebody that's bilingual, and then hire people that are speaking the native language in that country and have them go make the content. So they may disagree with me. I think that the one thing that we have is we make emotional driven content that is authentic to the person that is making it. Once you start to translate in other languages, it's no longer authentic, and people are going to know that it's being translated. I think you got to just put in the legwork and be able to just cultivate in each country. And also, by the way, like all the English-speaking countries, like I said, like our American content is done better than the actual content that is being done locally.
I think the only other thing I was going to say was, I mean, touching non-English countries is something I think you should do much farther into the future. There's just still so much room to like double and triple and quadruple down on just the US and maybe the English-speaking markets. That even like for us, I'm not even thinking about non-English speaking countries right now, and there's still so much runway ahead on, and it's a real challenge for brands is to just pick a core focus and stick with it.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, we about 3 years ago, we said, why don't we try Germany? Hell yeah. So we did some content in Germany. We hired German content creators that did these same ads. it looked really cool. We sent it to our team. They was like, we're going national, worldwide. It was so bad. The results were so terrible. And we said, okay, what if we crack this? What if we understand their culture, how they buy products, how it works there? But then when you start looking at, and what is that worth? Another 2% of growth in America? What is easier? 2% of growth here or growing there like a monster? And when we entered even deeper, some countries, like Germany, are not as digitally focused as America. They still go and shop at stores more. There are brands in Germany. I just met yesterday a German skincare brand called Profil that is doing big 8 figures. And they say, yeah, we're with Estee Lauder. Nobody heard about them here. Nobody buys them digitally. They're 99% in the stores. People in their little communities, they wake up, they go to the store, they buy the shampoo, they buy their serum, they go back home. They don't know what TikTok is in Germany yet. They will, it's gonna get there, but yeah, we're behind China 5 years. They're behind us like 20 years.
So I'll go a little bit unpopular opinion on this one. And I'm okay to do it because it's kind of my personality anyways. So here's what it comes down to. If you study private equity, right, and you really look at what it takes when you're brand building, we got to 250 million a year before we really started focusing on international. The reason for that was because we were starting to plateau in the United States. We'd already fucking grown. We already had our hockey stick. Now you got to keep the hockey stick growing, right? Then you start tapping international. I think Meta and Google have an amazing suite of products for bootstrap startup founders that are trying to test and figure out where they can go. But to Hudson's point, 1,000%, if you don't have an authentic creator in that country, the consumers in that country know what you're doing. And they're not going to convert at the same rate. So when we expanded to Dubai, for instance, in Dubai, our US creative outperformed any of the Dubai creative we tried to create. We figured why? It's because they're all expats. They're all expats living in Dubai and that kind of stuff, so it works. But if you go to Australia, it had to be authentic to Australia. KSA, when you get into Saudi Arabia, if a translation will not work. They know the difference in their culture and they're very proud of it. So if it's not the way a Saudi Arabian would read that script, they know what you're doing, they know you're not a real KSA brand, and they're not interested in you, right? So I think international expansion, at least my purview on the brands that we're building, is based on when you're ready for it. We have our product in the UK. So they're getting it in 1 to 2 days. They're not paying duties on it. I paid the duties ahead of time when we sent it there. Right? So the friction is 0. The conversion rate goes up. The shipping rate is the shipping cost is low. They get the product quickly. It feels like they got it from their country. But you have to have the capital to do it. You got to get all your product there. And when you look at an entire product SKU like what Comfort has or what we have, you're talking about a considerable amount of investment into that new area. Now you can go to Poland and that'll get you a lot of Europe. Canada, we had to get everything over in Canada. So it comes down to when you're ready. I think that some brands act foolish in trying to expand too quickly when you still have plenty more game to do right here where you are.
You know what, this just kind of spurred in my mind that we actually have not talked about at all today, which is really cool actually. The whole conversation today has been focused on how to double down and grow your business. And when you mentioned kind of private equity, it kind of got me thinking a little bit about...
They want the growth from the international. They're investing in you because you haven't gone international yet. You've already international, you're not getting a great multiple.
Yeah, I think, and just to touch on this a little bit, because this could be a whole other conversation for another day on like how do you think about your business long term and what your goal is. And there's no right or wrong way to build a business. One thing I do know is you need to take a really long term lens on building a business because there's a compounding effect of time. Some people want to build a great business and it's throwing off free cash flow, that's the end goal. Other people want to build a business and sell it. But one thing that I think is really important and a through line in all of those is all revenue is not quality revenue. It's really, really important. International is just one piece of that, and you want to leave meat on the bone for a future buyer to come in, and they can take international, right? But just remember that all revenue is not quality revenue. You want revenue that's repeatable, highly consumable, dependable, and has large TAM growth ahead of it that someone can underwrite. And again, conversation for another day, but I realized we hadn't touched on it all and brought it up.
All right, one last thing. Fuck. If you're trying to sell your business, you need to be omni-channel. You need to have like TikTok Shop, like the brands that I saw when TikTok went out for a couple days, Comfort didn't even drop in rev. Like we didn't even drop in rev. We were like, we're actually having a better day today, and we TikTok doesn't exist right now. You guys have to have that as your business, is like, we're so focused on TikTok Shop, but like Meta, Snap, Pinterest, AppLove, and having success on Google, like that's what's going to make your business well-rounded. Because if your goal at a point is to get an acquisition, you need to be able to put your company in a position to win. Founder-driven businesses, you know, they make a joke like, I should be making more content. Yes, I can, and we do have profitable content from me making it. But if I was the sole driver of why Comfort generated revenue, I'm too attached to the business, and at that point, my business cannot be sold. I am the business. That, I know you're gonna, no, that's gonna be the thing, right? Like, if I have 500 creators, and I'm one person, and if you take me out of the equation, my business will run without my ads being ran. Or if you put people in place to win, like if you sell to a strategic and they're saying you have to be on for 3 years, like some people don't want to do that. And if you make it impossible to detach your business from you, you're going to have a very hard time selling the business. So yes, yes, we could go all day. We'll let Kev chat, and then with no more questions, because we're going to let you guys mingle for the rest of the time. But like, this is very important. Like, you cannot be so focused on one thing that if God forbid something happened to it, you have no more business. And by the way, my oral care brand is exactly that. If TikTok Shop went out tomorrow, my oral care brand that makes $30 million a year for me is gone forever. Meta can't work, the other businesses don't work, we don't put enough time into it. So it cash flows because I have Amazon, Target, and TikTok Shop, but if TikTok Shop went, my business is gone, it's done. So you guys do not want to be in a position, especially with a business that you're looking at fast growth on, that you're going to go rely on one channel. You have to diversify.
One very, very, very quick tip I think everyone in this room can easily go back and do after this. I'm going to use the Nightcap, is it Nightcap is the company, as an example. You should go into GPT or Claude, throw your business in there and your business plan and where you're going, and say, pretend that you are a private equity or strategic buyer. Give me every single knock on my business and what I'm not thinking about. And if I want to build this business for the next,
You were sitting on that to end on that.
I gotta warm up a little bit. You gotta say, okay, in 5 to 10 years, if I take a lens on this business, what does it need to look like to create real value for myself when I want to sell this? And then you have a full conversation, obviously, with GPT or Claude, and it'll help force you to think about the knocks on your business.
Just about white space generally, because we've been looking at it a lot. And one of the biggest sins that I see from brands with white space is, oh yeah, I want to go into retail, but I'm going to leave that to the strategic. They're going to go and crush it. I'm going to do Amazon, but I'm going to leave that as white space for a strategic. They're going to go and crush it. They don't want to do that. They're not going to do the heavy lifting for you. So something that a lot of people forget, you got to do the proof of concept. They just want the harvest. They don't want to plant the tree and show that it grows. So if I want to show to a strategic, I can kill it internationally, or Kevin, we're going to go to the UK, we're going to launch boots, and we're going to make every fucking step in order to make that work as a proof of concept, so Procter & Gamble can come and say, well, they did it in the UK, so now we can go and cruise into Australia and Europe, rather than they did it in America, and now we need to do the heavy lifting for the rest of the world to do the proof of concept. But fuck that. They want easy, predictable money that goes to their bottom line fast, not the heavy lifting of planting the tree and making sure it grows.
Guys, real quick, before we wrap up. So I got 3 dudes in the back. You take a look at them. I got Lucas, Jeremy, and Kyle. So they're starting something really cool, and I want to go into it for a minute. I'm an advisor for the company. You guys know Lucas owns Haas. He's one of, I have some ownership in his business. He's done an incredible job. We took my business model and we put it in, and he's an unbelievable fucking founder. He's like me, identical when I was 24, and just like has this, he's just insane. And you were 23 when we met though, right? Yeah, you were 23. Yeah. He owns a company called Tribe. Tribe is going to connect creators to businesses where you can take the creators and run those ads from those creators on Meta and do the same commission play. There's a lot to unravel here. They're going to do a webinar. Lucas, I don't know how you want to go about that, but you guys can go have a conversation with him. He's going to hold a webinar. I think this is the future of, it's like a TikTok Shop affiliate platform. You can go have all the creators that come on and they can work with our brands and they can say, we want to go make content for you. They can get the product, get the sampling process done. Everything is there for you, all in app. And then you can go and track their progress. What are the best creatives? Every single thing is done and built in app. I think it's really important because a lot of people here are focused on TikTok Shop, TikTok Shop, TikTok Shop. Meanwhile, we all spend more money on Meta. All of us, significantly more. So if you have creator-based, led product promotional videos being done, you can do that through Tribe and find and connect with creators that are going to be able to go make that content with you. So I think it's very important. I think for businesses that are looking to grow and scale rapidly, I think it's like a done for you. Obviously, you guys are going to have to set the commissions and everything like that, but they'll go through all that. But I'm an advisor for this company. I trust the three of them. Jeremy's a fractional head of growth. He's a phenomenal fucking guy. He's helped the business a tremendous amount. Like, they're great guys, and they build great businesses, and Lucas has a gigantic fucking ego, so it's not going to fail because he just won't let it. So yeah, if you guys want to connect with him, just go connect with him. Guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys for being a part of this. For real. All right. Enjoy the rest of the time. Make some friends, and we'll do this again soon. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.